marathon of our latest compilations. Tess Holliday, the high priestess of fatacceptance, has announced she's, wait for it, trying to lose weight. This from the woman who built an entire brand on glorifying morbid obesity and shouting down anyone who mentioned the undeniable health risks. So let's take a look at this stunning reversal and point out the elephant in the room. Literally.
You know, I just did school drop-off and I was sitting here thinking to myself, why is me losing weight different this time than maybe it has been the previous time?
So you admit you're trying to lose weight. What happened to health at every size? What happened to screaming fatphobia at every doctor who dared to suggest that carrying hundreds of pounds of excess weight might not be the pinnacle of wellness? I think something is very off with her health since she takes this path. But the damage she has already done to her fans?
And I know if you grew up in the 90s and 2000s, you know that if you were plus size, you were automatically on a plus size to weight loss train. Whether that was Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, 100-calorie snack packs. We've all been victimized by that.
Yes, maybe the methods were questionable, but the path was still correct. Humans still lose weight the same way. Calorie deficits, movement, muscle building. The 90s didn't victimize you because they encouraged weight loss. They just didn't package it in a way you liked. That doesn't make the underlying idea wrong.
Lane Bryant workwear for our regular clothes. We were all little baby business people in like the 6th grade. So I thought to myself, why is this time different? I've tried to lose weight before, but why is this time different? And I realized for me that while the public discourse around my body and weight loss has been louder than ever, while I've had videos going around about my body where people are picking it apart saying, wow, she's gotten so big. Yeah.
You cannot be mad that people are talking when you made your whole personality and built your entire brand around your weight. You monetized your mass. You invited the entire world to have an opinion on your body by making it your central selling point. You built a career on the premise that being massively obese was not just okay, but something to be celebrated and defended aggressively. So don't act shocked that people have opinions.
She's gotten so big. Yeah, I did gain a lot of weight. I was surviving a lot of trauma. I'm very proud of my body.
No, you're not. If you were truly proud of it, you wouldn't be trying to change it. That's a fundamental contradiction. And what trauma? The trauma of being anorexic?
I'm very proud of my body. Or, she's such a bad mom for being fat. Doesn't make you a bad mom to be fat. It doesn't. It just makes you a mom.
Let's be brutally honest here. We're not talking about being chubby or even 50 pounds overweight. We are talking about extreme morbid obesity on a scale that requires consuming 8,000 to 10,000 calories a day to maintain. That isn't a little indulgence. That is a full-time, self-destructive obsession. At that size, your mobility is crippled, your health is failing, and your life expectancy is plummeting. Choosing that path when you have children who depend on you is a selfish act. It is a form of neglect. Yes, being that fat absolutely makes you a bad parent. You are prioritizing the gratification of your appetite. You are evil toward your kid and toward your fans. You are selfish, evil person.
It just makes you a mom. The reason that this time is different is because I no longer feel the need to defend myself. I don't. I think I carried other people's projections about my weight. The weight of other people's projections onto me was so heavy. And I finally feel free. I feel freer than I ever have. It took me a long time to get here. Not the sun coming out while I'm saying this, the irony. But I feel free and I feel great. And people are always going to talk. I just don't have to let it get to me anymore.
I'm glad you're finally on the path to physical health. Truly. But spare us the postmodernist psychobabble about projections. The reason this time is different is because your doctor gave you really bad news. Your body was trying to tell you something the whole time. The critique still stands. You helped normalize a level of obesity that is objectively dangerous, and many people followed your message and paid the price. Let's see what the comments say.
I wish you well on your journey, GLP-1. You would be much more inspiring if you accepted responsibility for where you are. Nothing victimized us. I'm 80 pounds overweight.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but it sounds like a lot of projections, and no, I'm not taking GLP-1s.
Sure you do. It's everybody else's fault that we're fat. Not our fault. Sure you do.
Try Ozempic, it's for lazy people.
Legit. Thank you for being an amazing example to us big women who love ourselves but have been through hell. You are so radiant and I absolutely adore you. P.S. Thank you for saying it doesn't make you a bad mom to be fat, it just makes me a mom.
The healthy I got on the inside, the worst I looked on the outside to society. You reminded me of the most important health is the mental emotional.
So are you going to be documenting this weight loss journey?
Not intentionally.
Well done, Tess. It's different because you wanted it for you and not for people on the internet. It's for you and your kids. No one else's business. There is so much help, so take it if it's what you want.
If the weight gain was caused by negative life circumstances, trauma, it's hard to see how you can still claim that weight gain is always totally fine, healthy. In this case, it seems like it was a negative side effect of a negative circumstance.
A fat activist who has generously taken time out of her busy schedule of, well, I'm not sure what, to bless us with a list. The top 5 traumas of being fat. She has expertly reframed every single consequence of a profound life choice as an act of bigotry perpetrated by a cruel and unjust world. So buckle up. Let's get into it.
This is my official ranking for the top 5 worst plus-size experiences. Have a couple of honorable mentions here that don't quite make the top 5. First honorable mention, going to the doctor for a cold. The reason this doesn't quite make the list is because you could get lucky, but usually you're leaving with a referral to a nutritionist, a referral to weight loss medicine, and overall getting worse because of all the germs in the doctor's office.
Instead of just treating your sniffles, the doctor has the audacity to mention a nutritionist or weight loss medicine. Imagine that. A medical professional looking at the single greatest comorbidity factor for nearly every major disease and suggesting you address it. The sheer horror of a doctor practicing preventative medicine.
Second honorable mention is finishing your food at a restaurant. It feels like there is FBI level surveillance when you do this. Everything is microchipped. Everyone is watching.
Maybe that hyper-awareness is less about people staring and more about you assuming they are. Most people are far too absorbed in their own lives and meals to care about yours. This paranoid fantasy that you're the center of everyone's attention is less about their bigotry and more about your own self-consciousness.
Now entering the official list at number 5, we have coordinating the group photo. Specifically, if you, the fat person, are coordinating the group photo, you won't miss the telepathic communication happening between everyone trying to convince you that you're the tallest in the group and therefore you should go in the back. I am 5'4" and I have been told that I am taller than 6-foot people before in order to benefit the group photo aesthetically.
If this is true, maybe as a clumsy, non-confrontational way of saying you take up more visual space. It's about mass. Group photos are about composition, and large objects naturally dominate the frame.
At number 4, we have wearing black. This can range on levels of traumatizing, but if you're someone like me that never wears black, everyone will tell you that it's the only color that looks flattering on you because, according to color theory, it makes you look smaller. This goes at number 4 because unfortunately half the time they are right, but the internalized fat phobia makes me want to put it on the list, so it's on the list.
This is called external reality. Dark colors recede, light colors advance. This is objective color theory, not a personal attack. The fact that you see a universally accepted principle of visual art as a trauma indicates a profound unwillingness to accept any feedback that doesn't validate your choices.
At number 3, we have classic, simple, but still average level trauma, liking yourself. Everyone and their mother will make you feel like a terrible person for this. I highly recommend taking your blood test results with you everywhere you go so that you can prove to people who get mad at you for liking yourself that you're healthier than them. That's a good conversation starter.
This is the most telling point of all. You've reduced health to a single, manageable metric like blood pressure to win an argument, completely ignoring the immense, long-term strain that hundreds of extra pounds place on your joints, heart, and organs. Health isn't a card you play in a conversation to shut people up. It's the functional capacity of your body. Liking yourself shouldn't be a defensive act requiring medical paperwork. It should be a motivation to care for yourself, not just validate every state you're in.
I went back and forth quite a few times between number 2 and number 1's ranking. I think I would still want to switch them, but I'm so far removed from elementary school trauma that maybe that's why number 1 feels a little scarier. Number 2, we have telling someone in elementary school that you have a crush. This made global news every single time. It was unfathomable that a chubby child could like someone. It was the topic of every sleepover. I even got a prank call once to my home phone, landlines, remember those? My parents picked up, and the person on the other line wanted to confirm if I had a crush on this person.
Childhood teasing is universal. Kids get roasted for literally anything. The attention you remember may feel huge, but that's because you were a kid. It's not proof of systemic anti-fat propaganda in the 2nd grade.
Then at number 1 here, we have sitting in a chair for the first time. The reason that this makes number 1 is because you think you're prepared every single time until you're 3 seconds away from the chair. And then every ounce of confidence you've ever had in your life leaves. As fat people, we have a lot of trauma, so let me know if I'm missing anything. I could probably make 1,000 versions of these.
This is a physics problem. The world is largely built to accommodate a certain range. If sitting down gives you an existential crisis, maybe the answer isn't to blame the chair industry, it's to address the anxiety behind the moment. In conclusion, your entire video is a masterpiece of projection. You've taken the natural consequences of obesity, the medical advice, the social awkwardness, the physical limitations, and reframed them as a systemic prejudice. The world isn't failing you, you're failing to live in reality. The common thread here is refusal to accept that your choices have outcomes. But by all means, keep making lists. It's easier than making a change.
Also, having your skinny friends constantly tell you how fat and disgusting they feel and they need to lose weight.
I would like to submit for your consideration. 1. Having a naturally thin mother. 2. Getting chub rub on the first day of a vacation where you have only packed skirts and dresses.
Going shopping in high school with your friends and you don't fit a single thing in the store, so you're just holding accessories while they all have new outfits.
Being gaslit about being unapproachable or scary.
Fear of seeing people you haven't seen in a long time because they'll notice I'm fatter, still fat, etc.
Being introduced to someone for the 3rd or 4th time and them saying it's nice to meet you because you're not skinny enough to be memorable.
That's what I do at the gym as a size 26 woman.
I'm about to go into the gym.
Your local big girl.
I'm back with more spicy moves.
While I was on a leg machine.
Hi geezers, this is what I do at the gym as a size 26 woman. Start on the treadmill, go from running to jogging for 20 minutes straight. Then I do the leg press, 3 sets of 15 on them at the highest weight I can do. Then we swiftly move over to this other machine in a second. Don't know what it does, but it works some on your legs, and I do the same 3 sets of 15. Then as a cool down, I go on the cross trainer, which is like you're jogging. It's really, really good, but it's so tiring. I did about 10 to 15 minutes on that and I was done. Woohoo!
The first thing that stands out is that she is taking action, and that deserves acknowledgement. But right after that comes the reality check. The routine she describes is simply not structured in a way that actually drives fat loss or meaningful changes in body composition. Starting with 20 minutes on the treadmill, trying to want to jog, then bouncing to random machines without understanding their purpose, that's not a plan. And for someone at a size 26, the goal shouldn't be survive 20 minutes on a treadmill. The goal should be developing the kind of strength muscle foundation that lets the body burn calories all day, not just while sweating through low-intensity workouts. 3 sets of 15 at the highest weight she can do sounds intense, But if your form isn't controlled, your knees are locking out, the numbers don't matter. And when she casually mentions not even knowing what the second machine is for, that really highlights a huge problem. The machine literally has a diagram on it showing the muscles at target. That mystery machine is probably a calf raise, and using it without understanding technique is barely better than doing nothing. For someone with a lot of weight to lose, training blindly is not only ineffective, it can be risky for joints already under pressure. Finishing the session with a cool down on the cross trainer for 10 to 15 minutes is another example of misplaced effort. She's essentially doing cardio sandwich workouts, cardio before, cardio after, and machine hopping in the middle. Cardio has its place, but relying on it as the backbone of a fat loss program is one of the biggest traps overweight beginners fall into. The body adapts fast, calories burned drop over time, and it becomes a grind. What she truly needs is a structured set of compound lifts, squats, hinge variations like RDLs, rows, presses, and simple progressions. Muscle is metabolically active, meaning building it turns the body into a fat-burning machine around the clock. At the end of the day, it's good that she showed up, but intention alone doesn't equal progress. If she really wants to change her body and break the cycle of ineffective gym sessions, she needs guidance. Not random machines, not guessing, not chasing exhaustion, and definitely not trying to become a cardio hero before fixing foundational strength.
10 to 15 minutes in the gym?
May I ask what your goals are? Doing a little steady-state cardio, 2 leg exercises, then more steady cardio doesn't seem like it will target much.
I'm about to go into the gym and assert my dominance by farting in the free weights section. I'm off 2 Eddies and a scoop of pre-workout midday. My program? Fat Rebellion. My target audience? The broads. Talk to me nice.
This one honestly left me confused. We've got an extremely obese woman boxing in weird way. The punches are slow, the stance is unstable, and the movement pattern looks more like flailing than training. Boxing can be a good cardio when done correctly, with proper footwork, rotational power, conditioning rounds, and technique. But this is definitely not an effective fat loss plan. It feels more like pretending to do a sport than actually engaging in it. At some point, we have to be honest about what we're seeing. People who want to lose weight, but are doing the exact types of movements that burn the least fat and build the least muscle. There's no workload, no progression, no power generation, no stance, no sweat, and no purpose. This isn't about making fun of someone's size. It's about pointing out that if you're extremely obese, you do not have time to waste on movements that do nothing for your metabolism, your strength, or your long-term health. And let's be crystal clear. What is she training for? She's not training for a fight. This is performance. It's done for the camera.
Need a punching bag?
I want a black eye from either one of you.
Your local big girl just crushed a fucking 9-mile run, categorized as obese, maybe even morbidly obese, but I just fucking killed that run, bitch.
LMAO me after every run. Period.
I'm back with more spicy moves that I taught this week at Pure Pilates with Jenks. Now, in the setup, I am using 1 light spring here or 1 white spring on these Marissa reformers. We're creating an extremely long lever. Being on that light spring, it's definitely easy to have a ton of slack, so going slowly helps you be in control of those straps. Now, I will say this is a little bit more spicy and a little more advanced. You know your classes better than I do. If they struggle with control and with stability and balance, then you may want to do this maybe sitting on a box instead. But if you are having people get into position, you can definitely have them grab on to the foot bar because you're on that light spring. It's going to be very easy for that carriage to move. Now for each of these moves, I did about 5 to 8 reps, and then you of course will turn around and do these on the other side. Let me know if you try these in your classes. Always remember, Pilates truly is for each and every single body.
This one really highlights a huge issue in the fitness world: people mistaking complexity for effectiveness. She's talking about spicy moves, light springs, and long levels, but the moment you actually watch what she's doing, the problem becomes obvious. These so-called advanced movements are basically unresisted lateral raises and awkward tricep and lat patterns that have almost zero intensity behind them. On one of the lightest springs available, the machine barely offers resistance. So what exactly is being trained here? Certainly not strength, certainly not muscle, and definitely not anything that meaningfully contributes to fat loss. It looks more like slow posing than an actual workout. When she says Pilates is for everybody, that part is true, but that doesn't mean every move or every variation is worth doing, especially for someone who needs real metabolic stimulus. What she's demonstrating is essentially a high coordination, low impact, extremely low resistance routine that might be fine for someone already fit and looking for mobility work, but it makes no sense at all for someone overweight who needs structured resistance to build muscle and burn fat. I want to point something out in general. We've become so terrified of hurting people's feelings that we celebrate simply moving your body with no regard for efficacy or purpose. The goal should not be to just work out. The goal should be to transform your body, to shed the life-threatening adipose tissue and build a strong, resilient, muscular frame that allows you to live a long, active, and powerful life. This requires discipline. It requires the discomfort of heavy compound lifts and understanding that the nutrition is 80% of the battle.
Was doing real good, and then 2 guys walked by while I was on a leg machine and so obviously turned around and looked at me to laugh.
If this is genuine, jerks like that don't deserve space in your head. At the end of the day, the gym is supposed to be the one place where effort matters more than appearance. And the truth is, if you're overweight and you're in there trying, you're already doing more for your health than the people who stand around judging others. Yes, the goal should absolutely be fat loss, building strength, improving form, and developing the kind of routine that actually transforms your body. But none of that progress happens if you let someone else's immaturity push you out the door. You don't owe those guys a reaction, an explanation, or a TikTok video. You owe yourself consistency, discipline, and a focus on your own trajectory. The gym is yours just as much as anyone else's.
Don't quit. They're in the minority of gym supporters. You got this. I'm proud of you.
So this is the story of a modern-day fitness warrior, a tale of struggle, of triumph, of 130 calories. Let's talk about why the story we're about to see is a beautifully produced fantasy.
Get your ass up. We're going to the gym. Y'all, I think I got drool on my face. That off really quick. It is Tuesday. It is 5:51. Let's do a timestamp. 5:51.
Our hero awakens. 5:51 a.m. The world is dark, quiet. But she is a beacon of motivation. Or, as we'll soon find out, a beacon of someone who woke up at 4:30 to pee and decided that counted as a head start. There's drool, confusion, and the unique energy of someone who woke up early, only to brag about waking up early.
Let me tell y'all a little story time about this morning. Girl had to go to the restroom, so I woke up at like 4:30, and I was like, you know what, Purse, you're already awake, so let's just stay awake. And then I was like, hell no. So I went back to bed, and then I didn't want to wake up again. Snooze my alarm, because I was just like so tired. Long story short, I am not a morning person. I'm not a morning person. I thought I was for like 2 minutes, and then I was like, never mind. Not a morning person.
The struggle is real. But this isn't a story about discipline. It's a story about content. The real goal here isn't to become a morning person. It's to film the struggle of becoming one. It's relatable, it's engaging, and it's a fantastic distraction from the actual work.
Setting a goal that I want to get on the Stairmaster for at least 10 minutes. Oh my god, girl, 10 minutes is kind of a long time on the Stairmaster. What are you talking about? Pray for me, please pray for me, because girl, last time I went on there and I was like, 15 minutes I'm gonna be on the Stairmaster. Literally in 3 minutes I was like fighting for my life. I was fighting for my life on that Stairmaster. So we're gonna go to the gym. We're gonna what? We're gonna unbig our backs and wish me luck. Stairmaster, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you.
Fighting for my life. This is the core of the narrative. It's not exercise, it's a battle. And this is where the lie is sold. She's framing this 10-minute ordeal as the pinnacle of effort. But for someone her size, this isn't a battle for fitness, but for views. The real physiological battle against insulin resistance, against systemic inflammation, isn't happening here. It should be happening in the kitchen. And it's a battle she's not even showing up to. The Stairmaster has become her personal final boss.
The gym rat is ready. She's pumped. The gym rat wants to walk flights today. That's what she's telling me. She's speaking to me, huh? She's telling me, get on the Stairmaster right now, girl. And I'm going to do it. And one thing about me, I'm going to do it. So come on, let's go.
No, a gym rat is in the weight room growing stronger. A gym rat understands that the goal is body composition. They're focused on losing fat and building muscle. She held herself accountable to 10 minutes of light cardio. The machines say she burned 80 calories on the treadmill and 50 on the Stairmaster. That's 130 calories. A single banana, a few sips of a soda, the caloric equivalent of smelling a cookie. This is the dirty little secret they don't tell you. You cannot out-exercise a bad diet. The most important lever for fat loss, especially for ditching that dangerous visceral belly fat, is your nutrition, period.
Guys, this is literally how I know that y'all are my besties. I did 10 minutes on the stair stepper and I ran out here because I was so excited to tell you guys. Oh my gosh. I think I really am a freaking gym rat, because 10 minutes on the stair stepper for me is like 30 minutes for like a real gym rat. And honestly, low key, it's scary, like being up so high. And like, oh girl, I walked like a total of like 12 flights of stairs. What? I would never in my right mind do that willingly. So the fact that I stayed there on that stair stepper for 10 minutes is crazy. I was gonna give up at 5, but then I was like, no, I'm holding myself accountable and I'm staying on this stepper for 10 minutes, getting up towards the gates of my goals. And I'm going to be greeted there by the gym rats welcoming me into the gym castle. Okay.
This is the most dangerous part. The message that anything is better than nothing is true for mental health, for building a habit, but she's packaging it as a legitimate fat loss strategy. It is not. For someone who is extremely obese, this level of activity is a symbolic gesture. Motivation? Nice. Deluding your audience about what actual fat loss requires? Not nice. Because yes, you can do it. but not if doing it means 130 calories a day and calling yourself a gym rat.
Super proud of myself. And this is literally me telling you that if you're a bigger girl, or if you struggle with gym anxiety, if you just kind of like don't really have the motivation to do really anything, me pushing you that you can do it. Walked up to that stair stepper and I said, there ain't no way in hell I'm gonna be on that for 10 minutes. So much better now. I'm so proud of myself. I'm so freaking happy. And I don't want to hear y'all coming for me. Like, girl, that was literally 10 minutes, please. Do you understand? Do you understand? Retired pantry rat. That's a lot. Hope y'all have the best day ever. Let's get it. It's Tuesday. We got this. See you tomorrow. Bye, besties.
Here's the part she doesn't film. She goes home right after, collapses on the couch, DoorDash arrives, then edits her 10-minute workout reel, and probably not move again until the next TikTok requires it.
I've been on a GLP-1 since December but have been working out this past week at home because of your motivation video.
Can you do a full day of eating?
I don't go to the gym, but I do have a treadmill and weights I use. Also, I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, do my workout, and later go back to bed. Lol.
A lot of us gym rats are not going 30 minutes. Lol, 10 minutes is so good.
Bestie, drop the gym merch now.
Girl, my number one Stairmaster hack is intervals. I do level 5, then 2, then 10, then 2, then 5, and I space it out. Good job, girl. It takes a lot to get up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym.
Nobody. Me. Unbig our backs.
Things that only plus-size people will understand.
I'm the wrong type of fat.
The worst thing you could be is fat and broke.
Welcome to FaceTime for the Fats, a series where I, a fat, talk about things that only plus-size people will understand. We talk about this really fucking weird idea that all fat people smell and how damaging that is. Because as someone who was a plus-size child and is now a plus-size adult, I have been hyper-vigilant about the way that I smell for my entire life because of this. And even as someone who is deeply involved in learning about and participating in conversations about fat liberation, I have no idea where this comes from. Not a single clue.
I will explain. As discussed in few of our previous videos, you're not actually engaging with biology, physiology, or even basic common sense. Instead, you frame everything through fat acceptance rhetoric, where any observation that makes you uncomfortable gets automatically labeled fatphobic propaganda. That's not critical thinking. At some point, you have to stop assuming that every inconvenient reality is an attack on you personally, or on plus-size liberation, or whatever version of body positivity you're currently teaching your followers on TikTok. You never ask the most obvious question: why does this hypervigilance exist in the first place? You imply it's all social stigma, but there are real, measurable biological reasons why body size can influence odor and sweat production. Let's be blunt, because the body positivity movement seems to have a real problem with biology. Adipose tissue, which is body fat, is hormonally active. It produces and converts hormones, which can alter your body's entire chemistry, including the composition of your sweat. More surface area, and often more skin folds, create warm, moist environments where bacteria, the actual source of body odor, thrive. Higher average body temperature, more sebum production, and hormonal differences can influence scent. None of this means all fat people smell, and no one reasonable is claiming that. But there are physiological factors that increase the potential for odor in fat people. That's just lived reality for any body type with more folds, more heat retention, or more sweat. You completely ignore these basic biological explanations in favor of blaming weight stigma.
Not a single clue, but I certainly know its impacts. Because when I go up in my comments, especially on Instagram, I'll see like 13-year-olds who otherwise talk about Roblox up in my comments being like, file this under posts you can smell. Huh? Even like when I go to the gym, a place where people, despite the amount of deodorant they put on, might smell, I'm extra aware that I don't. And this goes all the way back to when I was a kid, whether it would be for gym class or even on just any casual Tuesday. There's always this pressure to not smell. So, like, can anyone let me know what the history of this propaganda is? Or, like, let me know if you relate, because I know I cannot be the only one. And don't get me wrong, it's nice to smell nice, but it's the hypervigilance based on fatphobic propaganda that I have a problem with.
You're trying to turn a matter-of-fact biological conversation into a moral issue, and that's where your argument falls apart. You present yourself as someone deeply involved in learning about weight stigma, but you frame the world through a lens where no physical difference is ever allowed to have a physical explanation. And the irony is that your hypervigilance, the same one you say has followed you since childhood, is probably made worse by this exact mindset, because you treat normal physiology like a forbidden topic that must be denied rather than understood. If you ever stepped outside the fat acceptance bubble for 5 minutes, you'd realize that acknowledging biological realities doesn't invalidate anyone's dignity.
Also hyper-aware when I'm breathing heavy, sweating, and eating in public.
Hyper-aware of existing.
I always just assumed that people figure if we can't take care of our health, we must also not be bothered to take care of our hygiene, and we are.
I had a personal trainer who would tell me my sweat smelled like fast food. She would know when I cheated on my diet.
Okay, I'm a big girl and I exactly understand where it comes from, because I know what that sour smell from sweaty folds can smell like, and I have smelled that on other large people, sometimes so bad it made my eyes water. Some people are so big that physically can't keep clean. That's where it's from, but that also doesn't mean we all smell. And I've always been crazy self-conscious about it.
Hey guys, I'm pretty excited because today I am getting my emotional support animal, so let's go meet him. Look at my beautiful emotional support animals. They're so gorgeous.
Ah, they emotionally support our stomachs. It better be lemon peppered flavored.
I'm the wrong type of fat, and everyone likes to remind me of that. I can't control where my fat goes, but if my fat from my front was on my back or on my thighs, no one would have anything to say to me. They would probably praise me for having a curvy body. I do not have that type of curvy body.
You say you're the wrong type of fat, like you've uncovered some grand injustice of the universe. But this whole argument misses the part that actually matters. Biology doesn't care about aesthetics, and your body isn't being judged because your fat sits in the wrong place. Abdominal fat is objectively the most dangerous kind. There's a massive difference between subcutaneous fat on the hips and thighs and visceral fat packed around the stomach, liver, pancreas, and other organs. Visceral fat is linked with higher risks of heart disease, insulin resistance, fatty liver disease, and metabolic issues. Where fat accumulates actually tells us a lot about health risks.
You cannot judge my lifestyle based on this body type, based on any body type, because there are bigger bodied individuals who live healthy lives, who are healthy and are active. I'm so tired of people making assumptions about me based on my body type that I have no control over, because even if I were to lose weight, which I have, the body type would remain the same because this is my body type. This is what it is. It doesn't go away. It does not matter how small I am. This doesn't go away.
This isn't how fat loss works. Yes, genetics influence fat distribution, but are you trying to say that your stomach would remain the same size no matter how much weight you lose? Yes, you are not able to control where fat goes, but how can you say that weight loss does not reduce belly fat? In fact, visceral fat is the first type of fat the body burns because it's metabolically active.
But if it was turned around and put on my butt and put on my thighs, no one would have anything to say to me.
I have the same body type. Is my doctor concerned and think I'm unhealthy? Nope. Does the general public? Yes. You're gorgeous and they can STF you.
I hope you let this be a wake-up call.
Listen to me on everything that is holy. If you are skinny and have money, don't pretend to know my struggle. Okay? Because the worst thing you could be is fat and broke. You're gonna stay fat. You're gonna stay fat. Why? Because the McChicken is $1 and some change, but that salad is $17.99. You know what I mean? Like, you have the luxury to get that $17.99 salad. I got no other choice. So I'm gonna stay right here in my little fat bubble. Oh, you saw that hole? Broke. But it's okay, because you could go to a store. You could go to a store and you can find one because they have it in your size. Me, though I can't really even afford it, I'm not gonna be able to find it anyways.
Let me ask you a question that seems to baffle this entire movement. How is it more expensive to eat less? The fundamental principle of weight loss is a calorie deficit. How exactly does having less money force you to consume more calories? The argument that poverty causes obesity is absurd. If you have no money for food, you will lose weight. You frame it like weight gain is something that happens to you, completely outside your choices, because that fits neatly into the fat acceptance narrative that nothing is ever within your control. You talk about fast food like it's the only option available to people without money, but that's just not true. So overeating cheap calories is still overeating, no matter how affordable those calories are. Weight loss doesn't require fancy salads or $17 bowls with quinoa and gold flakes. It just requires fewer calories, not expensive ones. Your logic basically suggests that the less money someone has, the fatter they magically become. And let's not ignore the sheer fatalism of her statement, "You're gonna stay fat." This is the ultimate surrender. You present your fat bubble like it's a place you've been trapped in, rather than a place you're actively reinforcing with the choices you're defending.
Bra eating to the point where you become obese is literally the most privileged thing you could do.
Eating irregularly when you're lucky enough to have a meal causes weight gain. Empathy is a thing that is free, so is Google.
How did you get money for your tattoos?
So you telling me I'm chugging green tea every morning for no reason? You're telling yourself that. You drink green tea every single morning. Why are you still big? I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just asking a question. I don't want to be rude. I just want to know more about you. Every morning you wake up and religiously you pick up that green tea and you chug it. And every afternoon you're still large and in charge. So make it make sense. I'm not telling you green tea doesn't work. You're actually experiencing it. You drink it every day and you haven't lost a single pound. So if I was you, I'd put the green tea up. You eat fast food. I'd like you to start eating slow food. Slow food. Eat some slow food. But no butter sounds so miserable. But you're so big. So who cares about what's miserable? Being so big, so miserable. You cannot get on a zip line. That's crazy. You cannot get on a zip line. When you out of town and everybody else in the group is getting on the adventures, they getting on the horse, they getting in the zip line, they having a good time. You can't fit on one. That sounds horrible. But it's true.
I went to a fat person conference. It was crazy.
It was one of my favorite ones.
This morning, my son asked me why I was fat, and I used it as an opportunity to break the cycle of diet culture.
If you've ever wondered how far the fat acceptance movement can go, these might be the wildest examples yet. First, we're diving into one of the strangest events, an actual convention dedicated to celebrating being fat. Buckle up.
I went to a fat person conference. It was crazy. Let's check it out. We are at Philly FatCon. What is Philly FatCon, you ask?
Philly FatCon is really the first convention of its kind, made by plus-size fat people for fat people.
Okay.
Here, you're in a space where you can build community with other people who understand your lived experience, who want to meet you, commune with you, and get a chance to know you, build community.
A community built around not addressing the one thing that's hurting you. What is the actual goal here?
No surprise, it's mostly women here. I'd say for what, like every 15 women, it's one guy. What made you want to come to Philly FatCon 2025?
I think just being in a creative space with like people who can celebrate our bodies.
When you become a certain size, it definitely becomes a part of your identity. Once you're overweight for a certain amount of time, at a certain amount of size, it really becomes part of just who you are. That's how you see yourself, even if you lose the weight.
They treat obesity like a personality trait, not a dangerous medical condition. Well, I've been broke long enough. It's who I am now. Might as well celebrate it. They say, don't let your weight define you, while building an entire identity, activism, and community around that very weight. I am fat, therefore I am. But this guy gets it. He senses the absurdity.
What made you come to Philly FatCon 2025?
As a fat activist, I want community, and this is the place to be for community.
What's a fat activist?
Someone who wants people to understand kind of the impacts of weight stigma and just having a larger body and what it means to kind of move around in the world.
You know what would be actually activism? Demanding better access to nutrition education, pushing for more spaces to exercise, expanding mental health support around food addictions. But instead, you argue the problem is society noticing obesity, not obesity itself. How does encouraging people to stay where they are protect them?
What made you want to come to Philly FatCon 2025?
I came for the environment, being around like-minded people, being around people that are same as me, struggle with the same things, and figure out best way to live life.
Community.
Yeah, community.
Did you have a good time?
I did, yeah, and I'll be here tomorrow.
Awesome.
What about you?
No, I have to go. It was fun though.
The danger of this is targeting people who want to change, people who need encouragement in the right direction. This is sabotage.
Bro, it's so cool that there's a community for people to get together of like-minded individuals, but I don't know if this is where I should be, being completely honest. I don't want to be fat. So should I go to the fat conference where people are talking about loving yourselves for being fat? Should I love myself for where I'm at? You know what I mean? Or should I keep pushing and going harder and not accepting who I am to get to eventually where I want to go? I don't know. If you have any advice, please let me know in the comments.
At the end of the day, the absurdity is that the entire space is structured to normalize and defend a condition that is objectively harmful, medically dangerous. It replaces self-improvement and encourages people to find comfort in staying exactly where they are. This looks to me like group therapy for avoiding the truth.
I would love to be a food vendor here. Can we have a broke con conference?
Should I throw a skinny con?
Not gonna lie, the chairs look small for an event of this kind.
If I had an addiction, I wouldn't hang out with people that were still using. That's just me though.
Is there weight required to get in?
A conference of people who run from accountability. No pun intended.
We have a community for you, brother. It's called the gym.
You're late again, Andrea.
Yeah, but I figured since you usually spend the first 10 minutes of every class trying to get to your point, I didn't miss a whole lot. Class, chapter 1. Oh, sorry, chapter 2. Sorry.
Lenny, come get your test. You can't be fat and mean, Andrea.
What?
You heard me. If you're gonna dish it out, you gotta be able to look it up. Fat people are jolly for a reason. Fat repels people, but joy attracts them. Now, I know everyone's laughing at your cruel jokes, but nobody's inviting you to the prom. So you can either be fat and jolly, or a skinny bitch. It's up to you. Sit down. We're watching a movie.
Would have been out of line if she said it out loud to the class. Respect.
Continuing our trip through the wonderland of fat acceptance logic, we've got Marissa explaining things that are fatphobic.
Welcome back to my new series where I tell you some things that are fatphobic that you may not have known are fatphobic. This is one of my favorite ones. So if you think that a fat person existing is promoting obesity, newsflash, that's fatphobia. Because a fat person existing is not promoting anything. Because the word existing does not equal the word promoting. They're not synonyms, folks. So you equating fat people existing to promoting obesity? Yeah, that's fatphobia. Stay tuned for part 3.
No one thinks merely existing is promoting obesity. Nobody looks at a random overweight person buying groceries and thinks, ah, a promoter of obesity. The issue is when influencers and activists normalize or celebrate obesity as if it has no health consequences. But let's pretend the whole debate is about people just walking around and breathing.
I don't want to go into conspiracy theories and all that with y'all, because like maybe some of y'all ain't on that level yet. But have you guys ever seen a fat woman go missing?
Yeah, at the food aisle.
And for last, we got a TikTok that perfectly shows the core problem with a lot of fat acceptance messaging. The idea that whatever size you currently are is the size you were meant to be.
This morning, my son asked me why I was fat, and I used it as an opportunity to break the cycle of diet culture. My name's Alyssa, and I'm your Orthodox Jewish plus-size mom friend in binge eating disorder recovery. This morning, my 6-year-old son came over to me seemingly out of nowhere and says, "Mommy, why is it that when you got married, you were so skinny, and now your tushy is big and fat?" I thought this was very funny, so I did laugh, and this is how I replied. I said, "First of all, we don't comment on the size of other people's bodies, but people's bodies change. And a lot of times, mommy's bodies change after they have babies. And that's what happened to mommy's body. The size I am now is how I'm meant to be."
You were meant to be fat? But you openly say you're in recovery, so your disorder determined your meant to be size? Your trauma set the blueprint for your destiny? Why weren't you meant to be the size when you were smaller? Why this exact weight after pregnancy? Are there more meant-to-be sizes throughout life? Adults can believe whatever helps them cope, but telling a kid that any size their parent happens to be, even from a mental health condition, is meant to be, is irresponsible. Kids ask real questions because they haven't learned to pretend reality doesn't exist yet.
The size I am now is how I'm meant to be. And he said, "So my body's gonna change when I get older?" I said, "Yeah, your body is going to change as you get older. You're gonna be taller, you're gonna be stronger, you might be skinny, you might be fat, and that doesn't matter." I said this all very casually, and he dropped it after I answered that way. Fat is not a bad word in our home. Screenshot this conversation modeling so you too can end the cycle of diet culture in your home.
I usually laugh at fat acceptance TikToks, but this one made me angry. Parents aren't expected to be perfect, but they are expected to model honesty and responsibility.
I'm a teacher and have had a few students ask me why I'm fat, and I always answer positively. Yup, my body is fat, that's just what kind of body I have.
Thank you for being a positive role model to so many kids.
I love this. My then 3 years old asked, "When will I get a fat tummy like you?" We started body positivity then and there.
Y'all, so I wanted to give y'all a story time on. Huh? Hold on. Huh? Rihanna, girl, no. Thank you, though. She's supposed to look like some Rihanna.
No, she didn't. You told yourself that.
We're looking at a workout that proves showing up matters, but having a good trainer matters even more.
Come work out with me as a plus-size fat girl. Today I'm seeing my trainer, and baby, we were moving, okay? This was a 3-part workout. This was my first circuit. It's those little stepper things for 30 seconds. Then I do 20 of these, 10 on each side. These really, truly killed me, okay?
The circuit starts with those little stepper things, which for someone obese is fine as a warm-up. It works, but why? Next, bodyweight squat combined with a cable ab twist, which is an exercise trainers give when they want to look creative but don't want the client to progress. This is pointless.
This one, though, this one was really freaking hard. So this is like a stepper with a curl. And again, I did 10 of these on each side for a total of 20. And then that's my first circuit. I end the first circuit. Oh, hold on. I need to get a little fan break because, baby, I was dying.
Next, step to curl. Of course, nothing says effective programming like smashing 2 unrelated exercises together for no reason. The problem is that there's zero benefit to combining movements that require completely different load stimuli. Trainers often do this thing where they take harmless exercises, mash them together, and call it functional, usually because they want to appear innovative. Obese beginners will benefit mostly from compound lifts, technique development, and progressive overload, which should be the goal here, I think.
But then I end each circuit with 1 minute on the bike, and I do that 3 times. I then go into my second circuit, and I do this 3 times as well. So I first start off with squats, bar squats. These definitely go light if you've never done them. And then I just did some back pulls, or I don't know what the hell these are called.
The trainer thought mixing circus tricks together was smart, but not working on her squat form. Okay, and for last, the only sensible exercise, cable rows, the one movement that actually makes sense here.
Back pulls, or I don't know what the hell these are called, but some lat pulls, because you guys know I never skip the back. The back is what gets you snatched, baby. And I was sweating. Like, I'm telling y'all, this workout don't seem hard, but I was dying, and I did that 3 times, and that was my workout today.
The problem with this isn't her or the fact that she's trying, but the trainer and the programming. She needs a new trainer who programs for efficiency and transformation, not only entertainment. Your heart rate will be elevated, yes, but this is overcomplicating things in my view. I am all for a minimalistic approach, so maybe overreacting, but there is, for sure, a lot of time wasted here. What do you think?
Can you share your trainer's info?
Moving on to the next one, motivational speech from Anna.
Sometimes I go to the gym and I get reminded about the people who just really want me to fail, just really want everything in my life to go wrong. And in the beginning, it's always upsetting. It's always upsetting to see this. But what I don't think they realize is when they do this to me, it just makes my resolve to succeed so much stronger, because I will prove them wrong. I will do the things they think I'm not capable of. So I guess, thank you. Thank you for so consistently and constantly trying to hurt me, because it has made me stronger and it has made me more resolved to do all the things I want to do that you think I'm not capable of.
Anna's motivational monologue, starring external validation as the main character. The person she actually needs to prove something to is herself. Because at her size, extremely obese, the goal should be reclaiming her health through losing weight. They actually think you're not capable of consistency. They assume you won't be here in 6 months.
Like my girl Taylor Swift says, people throw rocks at things that shine.
You will never be trolled, bullied by anyone doing better than you in life.
We don't think about you that much, Anna. Your actions kind of speak otherwise. This comment actually speaks otherwise.
And for last, we've got someone battling the ab machine.
Every day I'm looking at my stomach, like, is my stomach getting smaller or am I tripping? Like, is my hard work finally paying off? And I need to stop that, because I don't want these results to come instantly. Like, I really want to enjoy the journey and fall in love with the process. And don't get me wrong, I want to fall in love with the results, because I'm not working this hard for nothing. But what I'm noticing is comparing myself now, like how my body looks now, to someone who's been working their ass off in the gym. And it's like, I want to look like that. Why don't I look like that? And it's like, girl, you gon' get there. Patience. I got to talk to myself like this all the time, because I want these results. I want a flat stomach. I want a big butt. I want nice toned thighs. But when I keep working on it, I will eventually get there. Until then, I'm just going to fall in love with the journey, push myself, go extra hard. And this is all part of the process. This stomach gonna be gone.
The wish list. Flat stomach, big butt, toned thighs. Great goals, but the ab machine isn't going to magically do any of that. Spot reduction is biologically impossible. Doing endless ab crunches won't shrink your stomach. Maybe a better approach is diet. Going extra hard on the wrong thing is wasted time and energy. She should be hitting compound lifts, which would also engage her core, controlled calorie deficit, progressive overload, and actual strength training, not trying to crunch away the belly fat.
I did this yesterday. Woke up today, couldn't even laugh. Core muscles sore AF.
Especially since Planet Fitness membership is really hard to cancel. You got the rest of your life to exercise, so yes, be patient, enjoy the process.
Showing up to the gym while overweight takes courage. But bad programming, unrealistic expectations, and doing the wrong exercises won't get anyone to the results they want.
I went to the gym by myself for the first time as a girlie with gym anxiety, and this is what I did.
So you want to start lifting weights, but you don't know where to start.
It's overtime, baby.
Come with me to Fatco to try reformer Pilates.
We're breaking down the wild world of plus-size fitness. Let's talk about why a cardio marathon might be the perfect example of how beginners confuse movement with actual fitness progress.
I went to the gym by myself for the first time as a girlie with gym anxiety, and this is what I did. This is day 2, week 1 of Gym with Jam. Firstly, I had to get an energy drink to hype me up because I was so nervous. As I was walking through the doors, I actually felt sick, but when I was in there, I felt so fine. To start off my workout, I did a 10-minute warm-up walk on the treadmill. I then went over to this bike, I did 13 minutes on this. I struggled turning this on. I had no idea how to do it. This literally killed my legs. As I got off, my legs were shaking, but that's the good part. I then went over to this, and I don't even know what it's called, so please let me know. And I did 3 sets of this, and each set I was going up. To end the morning, I went back on the treadmill and did 7 speed with a 9 incline for about 13 minutes, and I was wrecked. I was happy with what I did, and I was so proud of myself for going by myself. Gym anxiety is real.
Treadmill for 10 minutes. Then 30 minutes of bike like you're training for the Tour de France instead of trying to improve body composition. 30 minutes of cycling as your second exercise. And then the final boss, the treadmill again. Hours of cardio while ignoring the machines that actually matter. Excess cardio does way less for fat loss than people think. If your goal is fat loss, strength, and fixing the metabolic slowdown that comes with chronic cardio, you want compound lifts, squats, deadlifts, rows, presses. This shows the exact crossroads so many beginners get stuck at. You're trying to overcome gym anxiety, you want weight loss, you want to feel proud, but you're stuck in the cardio loop that fitness culture keeps selling because it feels safe and familiar, even though cardio alone isn't going to give you the fat loss, visceral fat reduction, body recomposition, or metabolic health transformation you're actually looking for. The diet plays the biggest role in weight loss. Your gut microbiome influences cravings and inflammation. Lifting weights dramatically improves mental health and resilience. Building muscle burns more calories than walking on a treadmill, and compound lifts like squats, deadlifts, rows, bench presses, and hip hinges are the true foundation of fitness because they train the entire body, stimulate the nervous system, improve posture, fight insulin resistance, and actually shape your physique in a way cardio never could.
Yay, we go to the same gym. I felt the same when I first started, but everyone is so focused on themselves they won't even notice things like you not knowing how to turn something on, etc. Well done again.
Let's move on to the next TikTok, where you go from cardio warrior to squat instructor faster than your form can keep up.
So you want to start lifting weights, but you don't know where to start, and you're feeling really intimidated by going to the gym. You want to make sure that the bar isn't resting on your neck, but on your back. And yes, just start with the bar, and then work your way up in 5-pound increments. Feet shoulder width apart, and keep your back straight. A trick that can help is actually taking your toes and pointing upwards. This will prevent you from doing some bad form. I'm still learning, but I'm happy to share everything that I'm learning along the way.
Sharing is great, but teaching squats before mastering squats is like trying to tutor someone in algebra while you're still counting on your fingers. You're literally saying, point your toes upward, this will prevent you from doing bad form, while simultaneously doing the worst form. Pointing your toes up doesn't fix anything. What does is shift your balance backward, tighten your core, and force your chest up. What happens is your chest drops because of weak abs, your knees drift forward, and you can't hit depth because you aren't engaged enough to stabilize the bar. Also, your shoes have elevated heels, which for your situation may be bad. What comes to my mind to correct this is a front squat, but what would actually help you, and the people you're trying to coach, is starting with dumbbell goblet squats, because those force your torso upright, build core stability, teach proper hip mechanics, and keep you from collapsing forward like you did. It's not glamorous, but it's how you build to perfect barbell form.
Hi, if I may say, I was having trouble squatting with ankle mobility and used the TRX machines to do bodyweight squats and get more comfortable.
Next, the standing core workout that replaces lifting weights.
Overtime, baby. I haven't done one of these in a while, so let's do a core workout for beginners. Y'all, this is amazing because we're not laying down and we're not using weight. Okay, so all you have to do is imitate with your hands that you are holding a dumbbell, but you're not. And dude, you're standing up. Like, come on now. Anyways, but the biggest thing here in this workout is that you have to keep your core tight throughout the whole time, okay? It's essential. I did 12 reps on each leg and keeping my core tight at all times. I did this for 3 sets and yeah, feel the burn, baby. Yes. Okay, bye.
You're basically doing knee raises and calling it a core workout like it's some fat loss hack. Meanwhile, the whole video accidentally exposes the entire fitness myth people get stuck in, training your abs while having 60+ pounds of fat covering them. If you actually want a strong core, you need compound lifts, deadlifts, squats, carries, rows, presses. These exercises destroy your core in the best way possible. They train your abs to brace, stabilize, and support real load. Doing abs when you're obese isn't bad, it's just inefficient and not the priority. The priority is fat loss. Fat loss comes from diet, lifting weights, building muscle, improving insulin sensitivity, and cleaning up the gut microbiome, not from 3 sets of standing knee tucks while holding invisible dumbbells.
As a fellow girl with a tummy, how do you know you're engaging your core? I be so confused.
This made me want to shit and throw up at the same time. Is that normal?
The final evolution of low-effort fitness content.
Come with me as a fat girl to try reformer Pilates for the first time. When we got there, we had to do a bunch of tests to check our mobility and flexibility. Here's me absolutely failing the push-up test. These machines had me kind of nervous, so I did check in advance if there was a weight limit on them. On these particular ones, there was not. One thing I found really interesting and refreshing is our instructor kept reminding us to slow down, because these exercises were about connecting with your body and feeling your muscles engage. Climbing on a box on top of the machine was not on my bingo card for this, and I'm not gonna lie, I was shitting myself. But once I was up there, I felt safe and secure. I think it definitely helped that I knew I looked damn fine in my new AQ Active set, and you can bend over without them going see-through. See you next week, besties.
Pilates being used as an aesthetic, not a workout. Let me make this clear. Reformer Pilates is not bad. It's just not remotely effective for someone who needs strength, muscle, metabolic improvement, and fat loss as the foundation. Pilates is incredible after you've built strength, after you've created stability, after you've established a baseline of fitness. But using Pilates as a primary training method when you can't perform a basic push-up is wrong. The instructor kept reminding you to slow down and connect with your body. Respectfully, what muscles are we connecting to when the resistance is basically the weight of a feather? There's a difference between mindful movement and pretending you're training. Look, I'm doing something for the camera. If you want to connect with your body, amazing. But if you want to change your body, you need to eat for fat loss. This wasn't a workout. It was all for TikTok.
I really want to do a plus-size Pilates class because I am scared to do it normally.
Let's finish with outdoor fitness equipment, the lowest effort imaginable. Movements that do nothing. Except maybe the leg press. Anyone understands there are no muscles worked here. These machines are literally designed for casual stretching. They're even easier than reformer Pilates. They don't even raise your heart rate to qualify as cardio, at least. It feels like exercise, but it does nothing that exercise is supposed to do. If you want any progress, walk. Seriously, a brisk walk has more metabolic impact than those machines. Just walk. Outdoor equipment isn't evil, but it's not training. It's not enough. At best, it's a break during your walk. So there's no point in that workout. Not for fat loss, not for strength, not for muscle, not for health.
Walk 10K steps a day and be on a calorie deficit and are good.
Still saving those $10. You look a lot healthier, but I'd still invest in the gym.
Despite all the questionable workouts, I genuinely respect that all of them are showing up and trying. Taking that first step is always worth applauding. Jordan had to tell us something. She is responding to a comment that says, "Your body will shut down in the next 3 years if you don't wake up." This is a video from March that I've somehow missed. Let's try to understand her contradictions.
Comments like this really take me out for a whole host of reasons. First and foremost, you don't know me. Assuming that that was the first piece of my content that you've seen one video of me dancing, which, table that, we'll get back to that. You've seen one video of me dancing, and you've filled in a lifetime of blanks with a fan theory that you have about my life and what my life looks like and has looked like to get me to this point today.
Well, of course we can get most assumptions right. Getting to your weight, it takes a lot of calories a day, extreme amounts of foods consumed. This is not even an assumption, but a fact. So, as the commenter says, if you continue this path, your body will fail, which is also a highly accurate assumption based on science. And this cuts both ways, because you also don't know the commenter, yet you assign them an entire belief system. So you're condemning assumptions by making bigger assumptions.
Today. Getting back to the dance piece, if you don't wake up, by wake up, you mean be thin. Okay, so I'm gonna channel your mind. I'm fatphobic. Okay. I want this person to be thin. How do you become thin? You can get surgery. Okay, sure. You can take Ozempic. Okay, sure. Or you can diet and exercise, which typically people like you, that's the thing that you want fat people to do, right? Is diet and exercise. Okay, so you commented this on a video of me dancing. What is dance? Exercise.
Why group them together? Diet and exercise. As you can't lose weight solely by better eating choices. Because you want to ignore the diet part. That part is the obvious one. That is what the commenter actually says. And how can you say we don't know anything just by observation? Is this logic also true for everything else? Is observation invalid everywhere?
90% of my content at this point is just videos from me taking dance classes. So, and with that, I circle back to point one, which is that you don't know me. All you know is what I choose to post, right? So sure, that could mean that I live like a deeply unhealthy, whatever the fuck that means to you, lifestyle outside of what I'm posting, right? But actually you don't know that to be true because you don't know anything. You only know what I post. And so if you had any sort of discernment, any sort of critical thinking skills, right? You see a fat person in a dance class. If I held your belief system, I would be like, slay, this person is doing what I want them to do. This fat person is exercising and that's what I want fat people to do so they don't become fat anymore. So that's good. But because you don't actually even subscribe to your own belief system, you just want to be able to shit on somebody.
Aren't you doing the same here? You are assuming their belief system. You assume what they believe based on one sentence they wrote. You're inventing an opponent who only exists in your head. Also, you're conflating criticism of your outcome with criticism of your actions. Health versus healthy actions.
And that group of people that you've decided to shit on is fat people because it makes you feel better about your sad, fucking, pathetic ass life. You are so triggered at the idea of a fat person, I don't know, existing, even doing the thing that you want them to do. You're so triggered by that, you can't even take 2 seconds to scroll through my page that will tell you that I'll say it, because why not? Let's be honest. I've lost 200 pounds in the last 2 years.
You were scared to admit that you lost weight because of what your community will think. So okay, now you are fatphobic. Losing weight is fatphobic, and you're defending an ideology that claims weight loss doesn't matter while citing weight loss as proof. Or in fact, if weight loss isn't relevant, why bring it up?
Be honest, I've lost 200 pounds in the last 2 years. So what does wake up look like to you? And why the fuck do you think that it's any of your goddamn fucking business what the fuck I do.
Sorry, that got a little heated. I feel very strongly about this subject because the sentiment that this commenter holds and is spreading via hate comments on mine, and I can only assume other fat people's posts, it kills people. Anti-fatness kills people. Weight bias in medicine kills people of all sizes. Minority stress kills people. And fatphobic people walk around all day telling fat people that we're gonna die because of our size. And they never address any of those other things. They harass fat people for exercising. They harass us for not exercising. They harass us for eating a salad. They harass us for eating a burger. It doesn't fucking matter to these people because at the end of the day, they are hypocrites. They don't care about our life. They don't care about our health. They care about having someone to punch down on. And they pick us because they know that culturally right now, they will have to face no repercussions and no accountability for their violent, bigoted language. Telling someone that you don't know, that you know nothing about, that they're gonna die in 3 years is violent. Since I was 12 years old, people have been telling me that I was gonna die in 3 years. I'm 28. So,
This is not a flex. It's tragic that you think you've beaten the odds.
in 3 years, I'm 28. So, I'm so sorry, but it's not happening. And if I did die right now, if I had a heart attack right now, like y'all think is gonna happen, you wouldn't know. Actually, you wouldn't know. And it wouldn't matter to you, right? Because at the end of the day, you want that. You want that to happen. You want to feel like your body is superior as someone who holds anti-fat beliefs. You like that you get to live in the superior body. So, okay, congratulations. I don't know, you want a medal? You want a cookie? Oh, you can't have a cookie. That'll make you fat. Oh no. Like, give it up. If you're fat and you've made it through this long ass video, I want you to know that I love you and that you just don't listen to these people because they're full of shit. They've always been full of shit. They will always be full of shit. Fat people have always existed. And regardless of whether you are disabled or able-bodied, if you are healthy or unhealthy, you deserve care and compassion and access to care and safety. And that's it. There's nothing else to say. Like, that is true. So, I love you. Bye.
Nothing here makes sense. Saying the commenter is obsessed and triggered while making 6-minute angry rant is wild. Also, what doesn't make sense is that you don't want this person to be obsessed and watch your video, yet you have a public TikTok account. Clearly you want attention and want to grow your business, otherwise this will be a private account. Let's see a discussion she had in the comments section.
Also, wake up, as if you can just choose to not be fat in the morning? Do they think one day you'll wake up and just be skinny? BRB, just gonna shed 100 pounds in my sleep.
Yeah, so that is literally how it works. You wake up one day and decide to start making a change. And why is the assumption made that I don't care for my health? Because you allowed yourself to fall into unhealthy habits which you now have to work to reverse in order to maintain a quality of life? Healthy people don't need to make vids on social media crying about how they should be allowed to use a wheelchair. You're right, disabled people do, like myself. My connective tissue disorders that were ignored for years by doctors due to their anti-fat bias put me in a wheelchair. Please explain how having connective tissue diseases impacts your ability to not consume excessive calories and in turn put on excessive weight. It's a simple in versus out equation. The disorders allowed over 100 pounds of fluid to accumulate in my legs, alongside large amounts of scar tissue. Those things impeded my mobility. You are making assumptions about my caloric intake, movement practice that are not based in any truth. You can and will believe what you believe, but you do not know me or anything ab my intake. Instead of worrying so much ab my health, it might be time to look inward. BC healthy people don't obsess this much about strangers on the internet. Your thought process is so all over the place.
You ate and I've scrolled pretty far down and I can definitely see results. You go, girl.
Thank you. Though it's not results, it's just my body changing as my life changes. I loved my body before and I'm working on loving it now as well. Appreciate you.
The only thing I know is that video you say with your friend losing weight is not body positive. Happy this movement is not a trend anymore because my God.
Fat activist with ridiculous claim. Basically, people hate on weight loss surgery because they want fat people to suffer.
Let's talk about the hierarchy of weight loss, which in the GLP-1 era is something that is so important to speak on. In our culture, weight loss surgery, and to a slightly lesser extent, GLP-1s, are very culturally looked down upon. Whereas weight loss natural weight loss, right, is very much valorized.
Right out of the gate, you want the viewer to believe this hierarchy exists because society is cruel and obsessed with suffering. Even if we accept your narrative, what you immediately dodge is the simplest explanation. People respect effort. If people admire natural weight loss, they are admiring behavioral change.
And the reason for that is because people view using any kind of like medical aid as cheating. Because to them, weight loss is something that should be achieved through hard work and discipline. And they do not believe that there is any hard work and discipline involved in using an outside tool like a surgery or a medication. This whole mentality is just fat phobia. It's just an extension of fat phobia, and it prevents people who have wanted to use tools like weight loss surgery or GLP-1s from being fully accepted into the thin fold after they lose enough weight to appear thin.
You keep using fat phobia all around. But notice how convenient it is that the term never has a stopping point. Respect effort? Fat phobia. Value self-control? Fat phobia. Prefer methods that don't involve lifelong medication or organ alteration? Fat phobia. Also, I think this is manufactured conflict. Natural weight loss versus medical weight loss to benefit this narrative. The real evidence-based medical community doesn't see it this way. The latest guidance, published just this year, states clearly, lifestyle intervention remains the mainstay of the treatment strategy to manage obesity. It is the foundation. Surgical and pharmacological tools are then added for suitable patients when that foundation is insufficient for the level of clinical risk. Also, the reason the stereotypes exist is because, for the overwhelming majority, carrying excessive body fat is a direct outcome of an energy balance that prioritizes consumption over expenditure. You can spend 5 minutes on Google and see the complex interplay of genetics and environment, but the fundamental equation is calories in versus calories out. When your visible state is one of chronic energy surplus, the natural conclusion drawn is one of lacking restraint. That isn't phobia, but observation, confirmed by simple math.
Appear thin. And I think that a lot of what this has to do with is the Protestant work ethic that we are raised with in the United States. It's a very Puritan thing, where it's not just that we expect hard work and you're supposed to reap the rewards of your hard work. You're not supposed to use something else that helps you. You're not supposed to have help. You're supposed to do it all on your own. It's individualism, it's bootstraps, it's whatever. And so if somebody doesn't do that, then it's like, well, they took the easy way out. They cheated. They may look thin, but they are not truly internally thin, because what thin means is disciplined. And if they use this, they're not disciplined. So they don't really get accepted into the fold of being thin. Now, what is this mentality rooted in? Well, duh, it's just the same thing as fat phobia, because this is the ideology of fat phobia. It's saying that fat people are undisciplined, are lazy, are blah, 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 and that's why thin people are better. So if you do a weight loss method that isn't seen as being better, then to a lot of people, you do not truly count as thin and do not deserve the social privileges of thinness. Which, by the way, are like being treated with respect and having decent medical care and having clothes that fit you. And the idea that not everybody deserves these things is incredibly insidious, and that's another video. But that's why there's this hierarchy of weight loss. It's just fat phobia. It's just who lost weight according to what fat phobia deems as the proper, correct way, and who lost weight in a way that's like not as valorized in our culture, because it exemplifies, at least in our cultural imagination, because like hold on a second here. You get weight loss surgery, that's fucking harrowing. If it's about suffering, if it's about discipline, if it's about hard work, like, I'm sorry, read Remy Bader's article talking about it. Holy shit, it sounds awful.
Surgery and GLP-1 drugs are acts of heroic suffering. This is where your argument quietly eats itself. You claim society thinks these methods lack discipline, then you respond by saying they involve suffering, therefore they must count as discipline. But pain and discipline are not synonyms. Recovery from surgery is not the same as choosing restraint every day in an environment engineered to encourage excess. One is a medical intervention imposed from the outside. The other is internal regulation repeated thousands of times. Surgery bypasses the habit loop rather than retraining it. That is the entire point. Your Remy Bader example is emotional, not analytical. Chemotherapy is intense too. Nobody calls it disciplined character development. When people say surgery is the easy way, what they mean is easier relative to sustained behavioral overhaul, not easier in a sensory sense. Fewer decisions, fewer daily battles, a forced ceiling instead of learned restraint.
And ditto GLP-1s, although maybe to not quite the same extent, because in surgery, obviously, your anatomy is literally being changed around and you're dependent on supplements for the rest of your life to get enough nutrients to live. You are basically being medically starved. And I don't say that to tell you not to get the surgery, make your own decision, whatever. But I'm telling you, like, you're getting 80% of your stomach cut out, girl. You're working hard. You're going through it. And a lot of times when people say this stuff about fat people and they're like, you know, oh, all fat people are lazy, blah, blah, blah. Like, what they want fat people to do in becoming thin is suffer. They think you should have to suffer to become thin because you're such a horrible person, clearly, for being fat, and you deserve to suffer because fat people are horrible. That's like probably, you know, maybe people don't say that out loud, but like that is the logic. And so the idea that someone is suffering less because they got weight loss surgery is actually quite funny to me. I think it's at least equal suffering because the mechanics are the same in that you're losing weight because you're taking in less calories than you're expending. But like, you're doing that after having had a major medical procedure that's going to have lifelong impacts and potentially has really severe complications. And then you have to deal with all the social implications and the stigma.
You imply that if someone doesn't applaud every weight loss method equally, they secretly believe fat people deserve worse medical care, fewer clothes, and less dignity. That's a cheap move. Wanting people to take responsibility for their health does not imply they deserve mistreatment. And the claim that people are medically starved is a gross exaggeration designed to elicit sympathy. The goal is nutrient sufficiency at a lower caloric intake. The core of your victim complex, a ridiculous projection, is that we want fat people to suffer. No one wants anyone to suffer. What people respect is effort and self-control. The suffering you speak of is simply the necessary discomfort of change. Discomfort.
Stigma. So like, weight loss surgery is not the easy way out. GLP-1s are not the easy way out, although if you have an underlying condition, it certainly can make weight loss a lot easier. But like, not only is this idea really mean and cruel and fatphobic, if anyone still cares about that, it's also just wrong. It's plain wrong. So that is why natural weight loss is valorized, and you'll see it everywhere. You'll see it with celebrities. You'll see it with people who deny having surgery, who don't share it for a while, like Remy Bader. You'll see it in comments. People comment. Sometimes on my posts that I'm just talking about being fat or whatever, they'll comment, I lost 100 pounds naturally, and they have to let you know it was natural, that they're good people because they did it naturally without help. And it's just American culture. Like, that's what it is. It's American culture, and American culture is fatphobia, and it's all entwined. And I probably sound crazy to many of you, but this is unfortunately just facts. Ultimately, it comes down to hierarchy, stereotype, and ego. And looking down on weight loss surgery is exactly the same logic as looking down on the people who are still fat.
Your obsession with thin privilege exposes the deeper issue. You talk about thinness as a social club with secret entry rules, not a physical state correlated with better metabolic markers. Even if we say that people treat thinner individuals differently, part of that comes from unconscious evolutionary biological bias, and part of it may come from associating visible health markers with reliability and self-regulation. And why do you mock people who say, I lost 50 pounds naturally? Pause and think why they say it. They're not declaring moral purity. They're signaling that their habits changed and stayed changed. Statistics show long-term weight maintenance is significantly higher when loss is behavior-driven rather than intervention-dependent. When someone emphasizes natural, they are talking about sustainability. And your entire framing treats the body as something that just happens to you. That worldview removes agency, then complains that society responds as if agency matters. When someone trains their body into a healthier state through routine, they demonstrate impulse control and delayed gratification. Those traits are rewarded everywhere: careers, relationships. And the claim that these methods, GLP-1s and surgery, are not the easy way out is almost laughably transparent. While they involve medical complications and side effects, their primary effect is to mechanically or chemically eliminate the struggle of hunger and portion control, which is precisely the hard part of non-medically assisted weight loss. To deny this is to deny the entire pharmacological mechanism of action of drugs like semaglutide, which drastically reduces appetite and cravings. Trying to shout down the logical conclusion that when you take the path of least resistance, the accolades diminish accordingly, is wild. You're mad because people see the difference. But fat acceptance is a movement built on denial, so this makes sense. So no, this isn't a secret hierarchy engineered by fatphobia priests. It's a reflection of how we evaluate effort. Surgery and GLP-1 drugs are tools, sometimes necessary ones, and nobody should be shamed for using them. But pretending they're indistinguishable from behavioral change is wrong. You don't get to redefine discipline.
The cheating part refers to how the tool is doing most of the work for you, or forcing you to comply, versus on your own you have to overcome your mind.
Also, some people have conditions that make natural weight loss much more challenging.
Personally, I still struggle with intentional weight loss and its ties to fat phobia. It feels inherently fat-phobic to choose to lose weight.
Skinny people say some of the most outrageous shit ever to fat people. It's insane. One thing skinny people love to say is, "You're not fat, you're beautiful." Or some rendition of that. I don't know why this is skinny people's first reactions to a fat person acknowledging the fact that they're fat. I don't get it. The two are not mutually exclusive. You could be fat and beautiful. Sorry.
Sure. One doesn't negate the other. Maybe. To a point. And this is just a social discomfort and trying to be nice. But you want to conflate aesthetic preference with biological fact. When a skinny person says, "You're not fat, you're beautiful," they are, often clumsily, trying to disentangle your worth from your size. They are attempting kindness by rejecting the label you just applied to yourself. And any attempt to separate it from your identity is seen as an attack. It's a rhetorical trap. You insist on declaring, "I am fat," but heaven forbid anyone else treats you as if you are fat.
Or some people act like you're calling yourself the worst thing on the planet. They'll be like, "Don't say that about yourself. You're beautiful. Do not say that. You're not fat." I just can't deal with like me saying something about being fat, not even in a negative connotation. Like, I'm not saying like, "Oh my god, I feel like I look so fat today." Just like when my fatness comes up in a casual sense, and there are skinny people who will still say to me like, "Oh my god, you're not fat. Like, don't say that about yourself." And I'm like, girl, it's
You accuse others of cluelessness while you narrate a life where your fatness comes up in a casual sense. Let me ask you, in what casual, everyday scenario does your body size naturally become the topic of discussion? Are you ordering a coffee? "I'll have a latte, and by the way, I'm fat." Are you discussing the weather? "Looks like rain, which is fitting given my substantial adiposity." It doesn't come up casually. You bring it up. You center it. You make it the protagonist of every social interaction and then feign shock when people, socially conditioned to avoid calling people fat, fumble for a response.
It's just uncomfortable for everyone involved because like you obviously can see me and know that I'm fat. It's not like a bad word, it's just factual. I know sometimes they're trying to be nice, but like also how could you be like that level of clueless, you know? You would be surprised how many skinny people have commented on the way that I'm eating and are like, oh my God, I could never eat like that. I would gain so much weight. The tact gone out the window. I don't understand why you guys talk to fat people like you're infants who just learned how to speak.
This cannot be true. So they are basically saying that even though you eat like that, you are not fat. Either this never happened, or they are surprised how you are not bedridden yet. And by the way, you are visibly, undeniably obese. The food choices that led to that condition are, by definition, a matter of public record. They are written on your body every single day.
How to speak. Certain skinny men also really interestingly talk to fat women. At least in my experience, I've had men like act like they're coming to me with like a secret code. They'll be like, no, I'm telling you, if you just lost a little weight, you just gotta do intermittent fasting, hit the gym, you would be so hot. And like they act like they're telling me like a secret. If you're fat.
From a biological standpoint, he's stating the blatantly obvious, like telling someone with a house on fire that water might help. Is it unsolicited? Often, yes. Is it wrong? Not factually. The real fury here seems to stem from the fact that he's bypassing your demanded narrative, that you are perfect as is, and pointing to the single greatest variable you have total control over. You're not angry at the advice, you're angry that it highlights your own agency in a situation you've framed as immutable.
If you're fat and you talk about weight loss in front of a skinny person, honestly, even if you don't bring up weight loss, you will be told how to lose weight. I don't know why they think their unsolicited advice is so important, especially because they're usually skinny people who have never lost a significant amount of weight in their life. I'll see fat girls on here who have lost 100 pounds and they're like still in their weight loss journey, and they'll have skinny people in their comments telling them everything that they're doing wrong. They lost 100 pounds already. Like, what do you mean? I think they know what they're doing.
And here's the ultimate gatekeeping fallacy. You can't comment unless you've been through it. By that logic, only oncologists who have had cancer can treat it. It's an absurd deflection. The fundamental principles of weight loss, caloric deficit, metabolic function, are not mystical secrets unlocked only by the formerly obese. They are basic thermodynamics. A skinny person who has maintained a healthy weight their entire life has, in fact, mastered the very thing you struggle with: energy balance. Their secret is consistent, moderate living. You dismissing their perspective because they haven't failed at something you're failing at is like a bankrupt person dismissing financial advice from someone who's never been in debt.
Something I've been told my whole life by skinny people that I genuinely think they believe is a compliment is telling me that I carry my weight well. Like, I've been told that literally my entire life. I genuinely think they think that they're complimenting me, but that is a weird thing to say to someone.
You carry your weight well is someone trying to find something positive to say within the framework of reality that you yourself have established by being fat. You have created a conversational minefield where the only safe option for others is utter, silent compliance with your worldview. Also, the core is that any comparative framework at all, any spectrum where bodies are evaluated, is wrong to you. You don't want to be compared to someone fatter, but you also rage against the societal standards that would compare you to someone fitter. You demand a world where your body exists in a vacuum, immune to any observation, comparison, or implication. A world where consequences don't exist.
Or they could be like, well, at least you're not like this person, and like insert the name of a celebrity or another person they know who's like fatter than you. That's fucking weird too. It's just really gross to me, the thought of like the only way that you feel like you can compliment me is by bringing down another fat person. It's bananas, but you would be surprised how often it happens. I just think that there are some skinny people that need to like hear that lesson of think before you speak once again. They just need like a refresher on that, you know?
No, what they need is a refresher on why they should bother engaging with you at all. You have constructed an identity where your defining characteristic is a condition of your own making, and then you have made that characteristic both the mandatory topic and a forbidden subject for commentary. You crave acknowledgement of your fatness, but only on your own, wholly positive, semantically controlled terms. The lesson for skinny people, for all people, isn't to think before you speak. It's to realize that with some people, no matter what you say, you will be cast as the villain.
Because to them, being fat is the worst possible outcome they can imagine. It's the scariest thing they can think of to happen to them.
When students call me fat, I say and they're shook. I don't get upset. But I like to say I have fat instead of am fat. I feel like makes it my whole identity when it's not. I'm a daughter, teacher, friend, etc. I don't know if that makes sense.
Then they say you're not fat, but they call themselves that. And then say it's not about you, then you bring it up.
Well, what do you want them to say? Yeah, lol, you are fat?
Perfect example of how body positivity culture trains people to be victims. The description says, as if all fat people just sit around eating McDonald's all day. Telling this to a complete stranger who is clearly working on themselves is absolutely uncalled for and idiotic. Things like this happen, which is why I built this platform to show and inspire others that although I have a higher body fat percentage, I can do hard things and improve over time.
I want to fucking see him again. I have never had this happen to me on a run before. Never ever. It slightly fucked up my pace too because I had to stop because I was crying and couldn't breathe.
Since she stopped crying, you might think, what in the world happened? Something very serious must have took place. But listen to what she says.
It slightly fucked up my pace too because I had to stop because I was crying and couldn't breathe. Luckily I got my mom. Very weird interaction. I think we just got fat shamed. This super athletic guy who just sped past us and he was like, how's it going, ladies? We were like, we're doing great. He goes, I used to be 50 pounds heavier. Just stay away from fast food. Okay, queen.
You had to stop your run because a stranger dared to offer a how's it going and a tip. While you're caught up in the trauma of a 10-second interaction, your visceral fat is the real enemy here. I really do think that his intentions were clearly not to insult you, but to offer a bridge of empathy. He was offering motivation from a place of experience. But instead of laughing it off, you cried.
Just stay away from fast food. Okay, queen. We do not eat fast food. Very interesting take. That is what not to say when a fat person is running. Yeah, this bitch ran a half marathon. And broke her leg. That's how intense she is. Also, I lost 100 pounds, so zip the lip. Thanks for the peanut gallery.
In the world of fat acceptance and fat liberation, any mention of weight is treated like a hate crime. The deepest insecurity often screams the loudest. She gets so triggered when someone mentions her weight, even in a positive connotation. Body positivity frames even clumsy comments as fat shaming.
Use it as fuel. Keep working hard. You are doing great.
Note that he had to make it about himself. Bless his heart. And you are making it all about yourself. Full circle. Congratulations, you're a professional victim. Letting a small moment let you spiral.
Yeah, push. 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 Fast. Push. Push.
If you thought the first clip was just a misunderstanding, this next one turns the volume way up and shows how quickly health concern gets recast as hatred the moment it challenges fat acceptance.
Are you concerned for my health, babe? Are you? Is that why you're bullying me? Because you have a deep concern for my physical and my emotional well-being? Are you telling me that I'm unlovable and disgusting and you're just concerned for my health because my well-being is on the top of your priority list? That is lovely. Look, I know thin is back in. I know we're all meant to want to be as skinny as a Victorian child with dysentery, but let's call a spade, shall we? You're a little bit of a fat phobe and you don't like seeing someone being big and fit and strong and healthy and quite frankly, happy in their body. It messes with the messaging you've been fed that you needed to shrink to be worthy. Babe, I wish you nothing but love and light. But if you wrap up your anti-fat bias as care to me or anyone else one more time, I will shove a packet of biscuits so far down your throat that no one will have to enjoy your patronizing comments any longer. Love ya. Mwah.
I love the love and light mixed with threats of physical assault via biscuits. It's very body positive. But let's call a spade, shall we? You claim to be big and fit, but you are ignoring the biological reality that you cannot outtrain a poor diet or the inflammatory nature of visceral fat. It's not anti-fat bias to point out that carrying excess weight around your midsection is the single most dangerous place to store it. That fat isn't just sitting there, it's actively pumping out hormones that wreck your metabolic health. While you're busy fighting fat phobes on the internet, your gut microbiome is likely screaming for a break from the processed stuff. You're so worried about people wanting you to look like a Victorian child that you've completely missed the healthy middle ground, being a strong and lean. If you truly wanted fat liberation, you'd liberate yourself from the adipose tissue that increases your risk of chronic disease. Exercising is a great start, but until you trade the fat acceptance scripts for a focus on actual fat loss and building muscle, you're just performing for an audience while your longevity pays the price.
OMG, yes. Why is it so hard to understand that you can be bigger and still be fit? And, to be totally honest, even if we weren't fit, it's still none of their effing business. But this whole I'm just concerned for your health bullshit makes me want to tell people to take a nice long walk off a very short pier.
Who's there? What do you want? Are you the IT guy?
Oh, sorry, I think I'm in the wrong place. I'm here for a personal training session, but maybe there's a gym somewhere around here.
No, this is a gym. Get in, I can put you to work. Give you a workout. What did you say your name was again?
My name's Hesh.
Oh, we'll just call you little bitch from now on, because that's what you'll be. Did you want a burger?
Yeah, all right.
Nah, you failed. Big ol' fatty. Oh, that looks great. Oh, real smooth, yeah.
Are you just making me do your household chores?
No, this is a thing. It's called grocery burpees. And lift, hold, put down. You know what they say, less stains, more gains. Say it.
Less stains, more gains.
Yeah, go hard in the corners.
What a workout.
Tell your friends I've got a high-intensity gardening workout and I've got a paint-the-back shed workout too. See you next week for laundry workout.
Have fun.
Am I in the right place for the French cookery class?
Yeah. Have you done any French cooking before?
A little.
Cool. Come and cook your best dish. We'll take it from there.
There are studies that show housework can be exercise, and it's down to whether you view it as such and thereby actively engage your muscles.
This next one falls into the trap of thinking that just moving is the ultimate goal.
It will never not be humbling to have somebody walk faster than your running pace. But I'm still out here moving. That's all that matters. Big girls who run. Yeah.
Just moving isn't the flex you think it is when you're actively ignoring the science of fat loss. You're checking the box for big girls who run for the sake of the aesthetic, but from a fitness perspective, does not make sense.
Honey, you ain't running, you're also walking.
And the final clip is the perfect participation trophy finale to the fat acceptance circus. Acting like you're giving them hell, but the only thing you're fighting is the biological reality of your health.
You know what's so crazy? I have never received hate on the internet like I have in a video where I was working out, moving my body, and trying to better myself. I swear, bigger people just cannot win on this internet. Mind you, most of these comments were coming from profiles of people that were too afraid to even show their face. You mean to tell me you're gonna come on this internet and talk about me and you can't even show your face? And I'm supposed to be upset about what you're saying about me? Please. If I didn't love myself and already do the confidence work I needed to do, I would have taken all of those comments to heart and not have shared my story on the internet, which is inspiring women across my social. Babe, so let this be a learning lesson for you. Post the picture, post the content, and give them hell all year long.
Even if this is true, the claim that you've never received hate like this for a workout video may be expected reaction to the contradiction you're selling. You're posting content as extremely obese, performing what's essentially rehab-level cardio, walking, the elliptical, and calling it trying to better myself, while simultaneously framing yourself as an unstoppable, confident icon inspiring women. The brain rejects the dissonance. The so-called hate is about the celebration of dangerously insufficient effort. Posting workout content invites commentary on fitness, health, and results, not just applause.
I don't even get. The haters will say to plus-size people, oh, get to the gym, and then will be mad when plus-size people actually go to the gym. You got this, girl.
So what's the real through line in all of this? It's a cultural pivot from fat loss as a goal of health to fat acceptance as an untouchable identity. Masterpiece of self-victimization.
My name is Jonna, and I am a plus-size girl who has chronic pain. I'm just gonna be blunt, going to the doctor is like one of my biggest fears of all time. But my hip pain has reached a point that like, it's not bearable. Like, I don't wanna get emotional. It's bad. It's really painful. So I am now back at the doctor who low-key kind of traumatized me 4 years ago. That specific doctor doesn't work here anymore. It's just an orthopedic clinic. I already know what they're going to say. They're going to be like, you're fat, lose weight. And to that, I'm going to tell them I am taking a GLP-1, which I'm not yet, but I am planning on it. I am going to. I've decided I'm going to pull the trigger and do it.
You are a, quote, plus-size girl. Right. Because calling it morbidly obese might actually imply a medical reality, and we can't have that. Notice how you present your fat, lose weight as an insult instead of what it actually is in orthopedics, the most obvious risk factor for hip pain. This is physics. Hips are load-bearing joints. That's not fatphobia. Doctors are not sitting in secret meetings rubbing their hands together going, how can I emotionally devastate plus-size patients today? They're looking at x-rays, joint mechanics, and years of data that say excess weight dramatically worsens hip degeneration and pain. So, 4 years ago, the doctor apparently suggested weight loss or bariatric surgery. 4 years later, the hip pain is worse. And somehow the lesson here is that the doctor was cruel, not that the advice might have been correct. You were low-key traumatized. Let me translate that from FA speak to English. A highly trained medical professional looked at you, identified a severe health risk, and gave you the only medically appropriate advice to save your mobility: lose weight. So traumatizing. And why planning to lie to a medical professional about GLP-1s? This is next level. You're in pain because you ignored medical advice for 4 years, and your solution is to deceive the new doctor? How does that work? Don't bully me, just accept my fiction and give me the referral I want. This is really peak fat acceptance brain rot. Actively planning to lie to an orthopedic to avoid a lecture you desperately need to hear. You are in unbearable pain, your body is failing, and your strategy is to deceive the person trying to fix you? Deeply manipulative and dangerous behavior.
Right now, my hope is just to go in there and get maybe like a referral to a physical therapist, because my shit hurts. Also need to set up an appointment with my primary care doctor so I can for real get on that GLP-1, because yeah, it's time. It's time. Anyway, wish me luck in this doctor. I'm getting nervous as fuck. And I don't know. I want to make sure that I advocate for myself and stand my ground on what I want, and don't let them just like bully me into talking about bariatric surgery like they did the last time. So wish me luck.
There's something deeply ironic about rejecting bariatric surgery while embracing GLP-1s. This entire video is a perfect, sad example of why the fat acceptance movement is a public health disaster.
I've lost 100 pounds and my knee still hurts, because it's tendinitis. It's not always the weight.
It's counterproductive to pretend being fat isn't bad and something people should work towards changing.
Pre-existing issues can be made worse with extra weight. While you never want to pigeonhole something as being simply weight-induced, they would be doing you a disservice by ignoring it as a factor.
I didn't have any hip pain till after I started the GLP-1 and lost some weight.
You know what you say? The stupid thing about a fucking process and what pisses me off nowadays? Nothing's that fucking hard. And I'm already amped up because people have been pissing me off all day. Nothing's fucking hard. Why are you still fat? No. I'm big bone.
Oh shit!
You're not big bone. I am. You're obese. I'm not obese. Why are you so stupid? Why'd you just? You think because you know you're fucking? No, because since you're retarded, and I have to bring myself down to that education level and IQ level.
Screw the IQ test.
And I promise you, you're fucking retarded.
Bones don't flap when you go down the stairs, my guy.
MF's bones filled with mashed potatoes and sweet candy yams.
Being fat is literally so embarrassing. Let's just talk about it. I just feel like this is experiences that only fat people would get. Maybe, I don't know. I feel like if skinny people heard that I was embarrassed about these things, they'd be like, literally what? Like, it's just not something you have to think about because you're skinny. Which, nice. Good for you. Number one I want to talk about is fast food. Going to a fast food restaurant alone while I'm fat, like through a drive-thru, for some reason is the most humiliating thing ever. I've seen people say that they sometimes order 2 drinks because they're scared that the people at the fast food restaurant are going to judge them that they ordered too much food or whatever. It's so and then on top of that, bringing fast food like from your car to like your apartment is for some reason like it feels like I'm doing a walk of shame. Truthfully, like it really does. Also, eating in the car. I don't know if this is something universal for all fat people or whatever, but I get so embarrassed if I'm eating in a car and like someone pulls up next to me or something. Like, we all have jobs, we all have stuff to do. Sometimes you have to eat in the car. It's really not that deep, but I'm like, they're judging me. They're like, fucking fat bitch can't even wait till she gets home. Like, no. Getting out of breath while walking up the stairs. This one is so bad and it's so embarrassing because literally, like, I feel like skinny people do get out of breath walking up the stairs sometimes if it's a lot of steps. I'll literally like be like holding in like me having to heavy breathe because it's like, of course she can't fucking walk up the steps. She can't even walk up the steps. Asking for a seatbelt extender on an airplane. This one is kind of sensitive to me still because it only happens every so often, like depending on the plane. I do like use most of the seat belts that are on planes, but sometimes on older planes I need an extender, and it is so embarrassing to have to ask the flight attendant for that because I feel like the people around me can hear. It's just like a humiliating experience and it makes you feel like literally not a person. I honestly could go on forever with these, so let me know if you guys want a part 2.
Not society makes me feel embarrassed. Not people are cruel. Just flat. Being fat is embarrassing. That's not my framing. That's the point of the Her video. We're constantly told that being fat is neutral, healthy at every size, and something you should love unapologetically. Yet here we are, watching her list off moments of daily shame. At some point, you have to ask whether the emotion is coming from external judgment or internal awareness that something is off. No one actually says anything to her. No one shames her. The humiliation exists entirely in her head because on some level, she knows what the behavior signals. When you have to perform psychological gymnastics just to buy lunch, maybe the issue isn't society. Every example involves a physical limitation or discomfort, but none of them are about aesthetics. None are about beauty standards. They're about mobility, endurance, and fit. The embarrassment isn't coming from thin people existing. If being fat was truly okay, these videos wouldn't exist at all. You don't make confessionals about things that are working. So it cannot be both, embarrassing to be fat and okay on the other hand.
One time I brought in little cakes to share with my coworkers and no one wanted one. I went back into my office and cried. I'm sure they just weren't in the mood, but it felt connected to me being fat.
One time my coworker said, I saw you at the Burger King drive-thru yesterday, you must have been hungry. I was so embarrassed, lol, haven't been there since.
Stray bullet struck her right in the stomach. It pierced the skin, but started to slow down as it entered her body fat. Layer by layer, the fat absorbed more of the bullet's energy like a cushion. By the time it hit deeper tissue, the bullet had lost most of its force, coming to a stop before hitting any organs and saving her life.
So you should buy my bakes to save your life. Order from Bellflower Bakes to make your stomach bigger and bigger, protecting you from death by bullet.
I don't know what I was expecting watching this. I'm not fat, I'm bulletproof.
On today's episode of If It Look Like You Can Fit It, then you better go and get it. We go and get
a belt extender. I am also going to use Southwest customer size policy while I can because they are getting rid of it sometime in January. But let's go, come on.
So I won't be able to use the customer size policy today.
There's no seats available. You can't oversell the flight to accommodate you. And you have to get a second seat. You will have to cancel your ticket and then you'll have to book with another airline.
The bags I just paid for, would they be refunded as well? Okay, where's Delta? Southwest let me know they were unable to accommodate my size today. So I'm wondering if you all have any first class seats available to New Orleans today.
The only seat that I have is that one, the bulkhead, row 1.
Okay, thank you so much. I have tickets to the Saints game tomorrow.
And? What's the crisis? What's the injustice? The airline employee is calm, polite, and explaining a simple, factual logistics problem. The flight is full. They cannot materialize an extra seat. They are giving you the option to rebook elsewhere. This is not a drama. Seriously, what is she proving? What ism is she exposing? Was the agent rude? No. Did they fat shame her? No. Did they refuse her service? No. They gave her a refund and told her how to book elsewhere. The point is, there is no point. This is content generated purely from the perception of victimhood. She's documenting the mild inconvenience of her size while trying to cash in on policies made for it. Look at me, I'm so oppressed because a full flight was full. Look at me, exploiting a customer of size policy. Look at me, jumping to another airline to ask for their most expensive seats. What's the lesson here? That you should be able to board a sold-out flight and demand someone else's seat be given to you for free? That all logistics and economics should bow before your personal spatial requirements? So this video is the perfect example of the problem-seeking nature of this movement. There is no conflict here. There is no villain. There is just a woman who is too large for a standard economy seat, a fact she clearly knows, trying to film a viral moment of oppression.
Girl, the flight was literally at capacity? She literally said she can't oversell the flight just to accommodate you. If this isn't a sign, then what is? Now let me guess, Southwest is the problem, to your obvious problem.
Fat people are hard to find in Japan. Let me explain the game plan on how Japan eliminates fatness. Firstly, fat shaming is normalized. It's very common in Japan for people to tell you if you're getting fat. People will start to treat you differently, and that will motivate you to lose some weight. Japan is built for skinny people. Clothes don't come in large sizes, food portions are quite small, and there's a lot of walking and traveling needed to get around the country. For example, imagine being obese on this train. It's hard to ignore the final point, which is the cooking ingredients in general are healthier in Japan. Their Krispy Kreme donuts have way less sugar. They use different oils at KFC. That's how you achieve the lowest obesity rates in the world. Follow for more.
I just got back from Japan today and am 11 pounds heavier than I was 1 week ago.
Logic-defying fat acceptance rants, where everything is fatphobic.
Fat people's bodies are not a fucking trend. Fat people's bodies are not a fucking trend. Say it again. Fat people's bodies are not a fucking trend that you can just laugh at. No, this is fatphobia. Hello, people, this is fatphobia. Do you not see that this is fatphobia? The people that are doing this trend are outing themselves as awful human beings who hate fat people. That's what's happening here. I hope for the love of God that every single person who has done this, I hope that you get fat. I hope that you get fatter than this fucking AI thing made you.
But wait, I'm confused. I thought fat is beautiful. I thought being fat was a joyful and very positive thing. So, are you wishing them a long, happy life? You're basically just wishing them a promotion, right? Or are you admitting that being fat is actually a miserable state of existence that you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy, except you just did? You're hoping people become the very thing you're defending? And Are people mocking bodies, or are they just not treating obesity like a sacred cow? Because those are not the same thing.
You get fatter than this fucking AI thing made you. I hope that you get fatter. I hope that you experience the discrimination and the marginalization that fat people face because you think it's so funny. It's so funny, right? I hope that you experience this, and I hope that you become this fat. I genuinely hope so. Like, it's not okay. It's not okay to use fat people as a fucking joke or a fucking trend. I am so sick and tired of seeing fatphobia being right, like, fucking smack dab in the middle, and so many people are like, oh, it doesn't exist, or, oh, there's nothing wrong with it, or, oh, it's just a joke. You're talking about real human beings who look like that, and you're making it a joke? Get fucking bent. Anyway, I also wanted to shout out every single other person who I've seen that's made a video or a post defending the fat people about this trend. I commend you, because battling fat phobia is fucking hard. So thank you. And I really, really, really can't wait for everyone to get fat who did this trend. There you go. Now I just put a spell on you.
Battling fat phobia. There's another battle we should focus on. Battling obesity. Battling the excess visceral fat around organs. We should be, indeed, scared of excess visceral fat. A rational, medically informed concern. The irony of all of this is that it reveals the exact insecurity the movement tries to hide. If you are truly happy and body positive, why all this? You're weaponizing your own physical state. But nothing says serious social justice argument like ending with pretend witchcraft and casting spells.
Who even came up with this filter?
Whoever did is the most evil person on earth, at least according to Marissa.
So when the chubby girls use the skinny filter, it isn't any different.
I love fat people. I'm on a flight today, and I sit next to this 300-pound woman, an absolute masterclass of a person, but she's thick. And about halfway through the flight, I look over, and she's squeezing her elbows together, trying to, fit in her little area. So I tap her, and I say, hey, I'm going to scoot over a little bit, and you can put your foot under the seat in front of me and your arm on the armrest. She looks at me, and she goes, what are you trying to say to me? I wanted the plane to crash right there. She starts laughing. She goes, I know I'm a big girl, thanks. Throws her thigh on top of my thigh. We talked the whole time. Now I think we might be in love. I followed her on LinkedIn, so wish me luck.
It was amazing to throw a thigh on you, Bryant. That was you? I get why bro is in love.
I actually don't want to hear another thing about how fat people on this app are like promoting obesity and like influencing other people to become fat, because do you know what I see on my For You page? Do you know what I am influenced by fat girls on this app? They're fucking running. Me and running have a very clear relationship. My entire life, you don't fuck with me, I don't fuck with you, okay? Me and running, we're not like this. But why are they making it look so good? Like, Loki, I'm like, oh, macho running looks so fun.
I know that this is a joke, but the logic is weird. She says fat creators don't promote obesity, but says they indeed promote something. Also, she's literally claiming influence from an activity she refuses to participate in.
Influenced me to stop obsessing over numbers and actually start moving my body.
Seriously, if they look at me and think, well dang, I am gonna go get obese cause she pretty, just cause I exist. Do they really think a normal teen looks at me and goes, that's what I want?
Why are skinny people influencing everyone to be skinny? Like the street goes two ways for body shaming. People need to just keep their opinions on body size to themselves.
Is it the fridge protecting the snacks? Guys, can you help me pay my rent and gamble for me with my money? So you're gonna gamble my money with one button. You're about? Yeah. Come. It's a funny video. No, she's gambling for me. It's nothing incriminating. Oh my God, the fucking fridge.
We're always right. We see the truth. We know it's jealousy. It's not protecting.
Why is there diet culture on the parking meters? Why do we have on the parking meter, sometimes I diet, don't feed me on the following holidays? Why are we promoting fat phobia and diet culture even on the parking meters in LA? it gets to a point. It really does get to a point. This is an issue and this needs to be fixed. West Hollywood, this is actually disgusting.
I honestly first thought that she is joking, making fun of her movement sarcastically somehow. But this is, in fact, intentional exaggeration for views. This is rage bait. The meter says, "Sometimes I diet, don't feed me on holidays." In the world of fat activism, the word diet is apparently a psychological trigger equivalent to a literal physical assault. But it is genuinely impressive to see someone navigate the world with a level of narcissism so profound that they believe a piece of metal is trying to bully them. She is clearly someone who has lost all touch with reality and is desperately searching for a reason to feel victimized. This is a level of psychological projection that requires a professional therapist. And the only thing disgusting about this situation is the fact that you think the world needs to change to accommodate your inability to handle a joke.
Is this satire?
What did diet do to you?
So no one has heard the saying, feed the meter?
It's not about feed the meter.
Girl, you are reaching. I'm sorry.
I am sorry you don't understand fatphobia.
Why is diet phobia okay? When's the last time you saw your feet?
Dude, everyone is so fucking fat. It is insane. Dude, everywhere you go now. I'm at Target right now. It is a sea of people that look like they're in the movie WALL-E. Oh, you're mean. Mean for what? Observing planet Earth? 15 years ago, shit, even 10 years ago, it didn't look like this. This is insane, bro. You go anywhere in public and have 75% of the people be morbidly obese, obese to morbidly obese. It's fucking crazy, bro. Everywhere you go now, people are so fucking fat they can't get out of their own goddamn way. I don't give a fuck if you think I'm mean. That's sad and scary. I want better for people. I genuinely think that it is industrial seed oils are one of the main culprits. Oh, I stopped listening when you said seed oil. You know how fucking stupid you sound whenever you say, oh, I stopped listening when you mentioned the industrial engine lubricant that's in all of our food, that whenever it started being in all of our food, obesity started fucking skyrocketing. Yes, sugar, I know. Sedentary lifestyle, I know. I also think that like the food that we're eating is so nutrient void and it's so full of chemicals that it's causing us to be always tired and always feel depressed and stuff like that. So then you don't want to do the things that you have to do in order for your body to be in the proper shape that it needs to be in. This is completely fucked, dude. Something has to happen, and that something is not Ozempic. I understand. I'm not shitting on Ozempic. I understand that, you know, really helps some people, and some people can try Ozempic and then, you know, they could maybe like get their life together for the rest of their lives and not be on it anymore. But beyond that, like a pharmaceutical drug should not be the only solution towards this. We shouldn't be in this situation in general. Beauty is such a currency that you see these beautiful people online constantly, so you think that like it looks like everybody's a normal size. Then you go out in public and the smallest woman in the room is 250 pounds. And the men are so fat they can't walk. You know, whenever they're so fat that their legs are glued together at the top and they look like a fucking mermaid? That's everybody I see everywhere. It's sad, dude. When you're that fat, not only is that a burden on our medical system, but it's also, it contributes to all different kinds of things. Heart disease, it contributes to all different kinds of mental illness and stuff like that. When you're that fat, your brain isn't even right because your body isn't right and your nutrition isn't right. Your life isn't right. It makes me sad to think about people that are so fucking fat that they can feel that bad about themselves all the time. Some people, yeah, there's maybe 1 in a million fat people that are like, oh, I'm totally fine, this is cool. But the majority of them feel like total shit. Because I know how I feel whenever I start eating like shit and start gaining weight and get sluggish. You don't want to have sex. You don't have energy. You know what I mean? You don't feel sexy. You don't feel good about yourself. That is so fucked and so sad. We have to do something about that.
The people that disagree look a certain way.
Add to that, their audacity to give out fitness and nutrition advice.
To me, I wouldn't buy from a brand that said this kind of thing. Brands don't need to stock XXXL. You just need to choose health and drop to a safe size. This is problematic AF. This is Marissa. She is founder and creative director of Samyra. Listen, it is 6:15 in the morning. My pronunciation is below par at this point, and I apologize. And the hoodies run for about 190 Australian dollars, which is around 125 US dollars. Now listen, I'm not buying hoodies for over $100. But this video really struck me. It implies that folk in larger bodies don't deserve dignity, don't deserve clothing, and ultimately don't deserve representation. And it frames thinness as this moral or personal achievement, being in a larger body as some kind of personal failure, which is a classic fatphobic narrative. And it ignores the reality that bodies come in all shapes and sizes. Body size is dictated by many things: genetics, hormones, medications, medical history, socioeconomic factors. It also
Notice what's absent from this exhaustive catalog? The amount of food you put in your mouth. The one variable that is universally adjustable. The primary lever of energy balance. To leave it out is not an oversight. It must be ignored. Because to acknowledge it is to introduce the terrifying, oppressive concept of personal agency. It's like explaining why a bathtub overflowed by listing the plumbing history, the brand of faucet, the humidity in the room, and the socioeconomic background of the house, while refusing to mention that the tap was left on.
Come in all shapes and sizes. Body size is dictated by many things: genetics, hormones, medications, medical history, socioeconomic factors. It also slightly weirdly treats clothing and access to certain brands as some kind of reward. Clothing, along with access to food, is a basic human right, not something you earn by having a certain body type, a certain income, and suggesting that only smaller bodies can have access to certain types of clothing reinforces exclusion. Icky as fuck. And much lower down on the priority list of why this is problematic, brands that are not size inclusive are making a business choice. You are saying, I'm going to exclude an entire group of people. Fun fact, folk in larger bodies do have money, and telling them to shrink rather than serving them, it's not only discriminatory, it's also just financially stupid, if you ask me. Ultimately, this kind of narrative just really oversimplifies one's health, incorrectly implies that those in smaller bodies are healthier, completely forgets that health is not a size, and that health is complex and looks different on every single body. And this kind of narrative increases shame, increases stigma, which can actually worsen our health outcomes, by the way. So whilst I'm not in Australia and I would absolutely never spend $120 on a hoodie, I would also never buy anything from a brand that has a founder that has this kind of narrative around people.
The level of delusion required to claim that access to a luxury streetwear hoodie is a basic human right is honestly staggering, but it perfectly illustrates the narcissistic core of this movement. Fat people are not being discriminated against because a niche brand founder who is running her own business with her own money decides to focus on a specific athletic aesthetic that doesn't include XXXL. This is a personal brand, a niche market, and she has every right to curate the image and the sizing of her label however she sees fit. Clothing is a necessity, sure, but high-end fashion is a privilege, and the idea that a business is financially stupid for not catering to a demographic that literally embodies the opposite of their brand's health and fitness message is weird. It's not problematic AF to have a target audience, it's just business. Also, health is not a size is just a fancy way of saying, I don't care. Health is absolutely related to size when that size is caused by an accumulation of visceral fat.
And if she did carry that size, they would be $200 to make sure to punish us more.
Regardless of size, people need clothes.
Buy from somewhere that does your massive size.
I'm gonna start treating fat people like tall people. I'm 6'1", so I can't go anywhere without someone being like, oh my gosh, you're so tall. How tall are you? So, oh my gosh, what do you weigh? You're so fat. How fat are you?
And I was like, why are you so obsessed with me?
Notice she only picked out one group of people she doing it to though.
When people are fat phobic on this platform, you should be uncomfortable. You should be uncomfortable.
Looking at the current state of public health in the Western world, I am very uncomfortable. But you are uncomfortable because people are pointing out reality. But please, continue lecturing us on platform safety.
It is irresponsible to come on an app where there are vulnerable young people and be so fat phobic, to spread such hate and harm, and do it under the guise of caring about people and making it about people not caring about themselves. You don't get to do that.
Yes, including children in the conversation is the best defense. A classic. So, it is irresponsible to tell vulnerable young people that obesity leads to heart disease. Criticizing obesity is irresponsible. But it is responsible to get on camera, struggling for breath in a stained shirt, and tell those same impressionable kids that weighing 400 pounds is totally fine. Let's define harm. Harm isn't someone in the comments telling you to eat a salad. Harm is needing a breathing machine to survive sleeping through the night, and even before you hit 30. And yes, we do get to do that. It used to be called giving good advice. Now it's hate speech.
You don't get to do that. And it's tolerated too much. And it's made light of heart too much. Fat phobia should make you uncomfortable because it is intertwined with every single other system of oppression that exists. It is related to sexism, racism, homophobia, xenophobia, classism. And so when you talk about one, you talk about it all.
Everything, everywhere, all at once. When you absolutely cannot defend your arguments with biology or science or basic logic, you just link your ideas to actual civil rights movements and hope nobody notices the difference. Listen, your visceral fat does not know your race. Your cholesterol doesn't care who you vote for or love. Trying to hide from the consequences of overeating behind the shield of racism or sexism isn't just intellectually lazy, it's deeply insulting to people facing actual systemic oppression. Centering yourself in every historical struggle while actively promoting the one condition that directly oppresses your own body's ability to function.
You talk about it all. Which is why I say it is irresponsible, disrespectful, and hateful to come on this app and be fat phobic. And that is all I have to say on the matter. Because I've already said too much on the matter. And people are not uncomfortable enough for me. They're too comfortable. And I know it talked about ushering people to their seats, sitting people down, but I need you all to get up out of your seats and stop being so complicit and complacent when it comes to fat phobia. Stand up and show up.
We are too comfortable. The irony is staggering. The entire fat acceptance is built on comfort. The comfort of never saying no to a craving. The comfort of never breaking a sweat. You are drowning in comfort. And notice the framing. It shouldn't be on us to teach you. Translation: I demand you listen, but I refuse reality. Don't question, just accept.
Stand up and show up. Learn something. And to learn, you need to unlearn. And it shouldn't be on us to teach you. But it is on you to stop spewing hateful, false, fatphobic rhetoric. And furthermore, being tolerable of it. Thank you.
Yes, unlearn. Unlearn evolutionary biology. Unlearn physics. Unlearn the basic concept of cause and effect. Unlearn logic. That's the prerequisite for entry into this cult. It's honestly exhausting watching this level of narcissism, where someone lectures the world on responsibility while visibly embodying a total lack of it. She wants you to be silent, complicit and complacent, to use her words, as she guides her followers toward disease. As one of our commenters said, if you think that your weight is not society's business, then the problems resulting out of it are not society's business either. It is a vice versa situation.
Girl, why should I be uncomfortable in my slim and tiny self?
Sis thought we at church.
We have inflation, food costs. How much do you spend on food per day?
Why is that your concern?
Because she mentions that fatphobia is linked to classism. The opposite is true, since to maintain being fat you need to be rich.
This is what leg day looks like as someone who just started working out and has no idea what they're doing.
The title says Gym Motivation for Plus-Size Fitness, but you admit you don't know what you're doing. Wouldn't it be better if fat folks simply watch normal gym motivation? What makes this special for plus-size individuals? Because you are fat? Is it the relatable lack of effort? Does your obesity makes this special? But I was told that body size does not promote anything. How come body size means a lot in this context? If body size supposedly doesn't define capability, why is body size the headline? Why is the plus size label necessary? So, first exercise, leg press. Foot placement aside, it's not deep enough. Also, bad pick for someone whose belly comes in the way of execution. Because of her current body composition, her range of motion is severely limited. Her midsection is physically stopping the weight before her muscles can reach a deep stretch. Half reps on machines aren't beginner-friendly, they're just inefficient.
I do 5 sets of each machine. Don't ask me what they're called because I don't know. Let's call it the booty picker-upper, because I must have dropped my booty in my 20s somewhere. This one always makes me feel like I'm about to fart, and this one's dangerous to be on your phone while using. I accidentally sat on one of these things for 35 minutes and could barely walk back to my car. Now be careful not to use too much weight, because I did end up crying in pain on the floor holding my left butt cheek after this workout.
Second exercise, same story, no depth. Also, don't lock your knees. And why isolations? Why no squat, no lunge, no deadlift? Why leg extensions? You need a caloric deficit and a barbell. I think your followers should watch someone who knows what they are doing and just focus on compounds. This is wrong because you're selling confusion. You're telling people that the gym is chaos. That matters because beginners copy what they see. 5 sets on every machine is just junk volume. By framing this as plus-size motivation while celebrating incompetence, you're suggesting that fat individuals need a different, lower standard of entry. They don't. They need the same things as everyone else: proper form, structured program, and progressive overload. So, lift weights with a plan, eat like your future health matters, and stop pretending confusion is cute. While I applaud the effort to start exercising, this humor is exactly why people spin their wheels in the gym. Trying isn't the same as training. Are you going to the gym to film a TikTok, or are you going to make a transformation?
Our leg day is identical, and I still have no idea what I am doing, but I have dropped 20 pounds. CEO of saying what we all thinkin'.
Next, we're checking in on a 75 soft update. And the logic here is even softer than the workout.
Hey besties, it's me again with a gym routine that nobody asked for. Of course, I start with bicep curls.
Of course. Because when you're obese, the most urgent muscle to prioritize is biceps.
Then I'm going to do hammer curls on both sides.
Biceps again. Comical waste of your limited energy and willpower.
That's 10 reps. And then RDLs, same thing, 3 sets, 10 reps. We're just following a system here, okay? Same thing with these.
The form of these is undefined. Could be triceps, could be lats, could be a cable machine being used on vibes alone. Undefined movement, undefined goal.
These abs are absolutely killer, but same thing. I did 3 sets for 10 reps.
Abs, yes. Let's focus on your six-pack. For someone carrying significant body fat, ab isolation is the lowest return on investment. Core strength matters, but you get that from compounds.
Now the rows. I did 30 seconds on, 30 seconds rest for 11 intervals. As you can see here, killer workout. And that completed day 2 of 75 soft. See?
Bicep curls first, then overhead press, then more curls, then RDLs tossed in like an afterthought. That's not a system. If you're training for fat loss or building muscle, exercise order matters. Compound lifts first when you're fresh. So basically, the RDLs and the rowing cardio are the only good things here. When you are obese, your prime real estate is your legs, back, and maybe chest, the large muscles.
Your gym is so empty, I'm so jealous.
Finally, we have the expert beginner.
You're new to the gym and you don't know where to start. I got you. Ignore my protein shake stain that's right here. It's literally the only thing that I can see. You ignore it, okay? Doing a higher weight, you're gonna do 3 sets of 10. If you're doing a lower weight, do 3 sets of 15. This is where we're gonna start. We're gonna do some back and arms today, okay? I'm gonna try 70, see where I'm at. It's been a few days. Struggle with grabbing this, okay? So if you gotta stand on the seat, stand on the seat. Who cares? The key is to squeeze your back. Let me show you. You're gonna lean back a little bit when we're pulling down and squeeze the back. And then slow on the up too. You don't wanna go like this. Don't be doing that, bestie. Keep it slow. Squeeze the back. Okay, next we're gonna work with this.
I was confused why you changed the handle, but it may make sense since it seems that this will be your only back exercise. And the whole 3 sets of 10 if heavy, 3 sets of 15 if light thing sounds clean, but it skips the point. Load should be chosen based on proximity to failure, not round numbers. Reps don't decide effectiveness. Tension do. Otherwise, fitness is just math. Oversimplification that ignores the critical factor for a beginner. Mastering form with manageable weight to build mind-muscle connection.
Okay, next we're gonna work with this bad boy. We're gonna be working the triceps. Let me show you what to do. First, we're gonna lower this to about forehead height. Means bar at like eye length, eye level. The bar, you're gonna want your thumbs over the bar as well. So you're not gonna hold the bar like this, but you're gonna hold the bar like this. We're gonna go eye level, take a step back, bend your knees, and pull down. Then when you're at this position, you're gonna drop your shoulders back. And then when you're doing it, you're only going from your elbow down to your hand. Your shoulders are not moving. Keep your elbows in to your side. Next, we're gonna work on working your triceps. You're gonna wanna start out on a very small weight for this. I can only do 10 pounds. Your legs are gonna be shoulder width apart, and then you're going to bend your knees also slightly. Your dumbbells are gonna start right here. You're just gonna lift.
Whoa, what is this? Didn't you say triceps? This doesn't even look as lateral raise, nor front one. This is some hybrid something. Yes, bending slightly and twisting your arm may give you more focus on side delts, but this is not it.
1, slow and controlled. 2, 10. Oh my goodness. Gonna work our triceps again. So I'm gonna grab a 25-pound weight. Let me show you what to do with it. Above our head, and then we're gonna bring our elbows in. We're gonna lift and lower. 10. Also, in between your reps, make sure you are resting, okay? We're gonna rest for like 1 to 3 minutes. Give your body time to recover between each set so you don't injure yourself. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. What we're gonna do first is grab it underhand. We're gonna work out the back, so shoulder width apart. Push your butt back. Bend your knees a little bit. Pull in to right underneath your chest.
Come on, you're barely bent. This turns the row into a traps and biceps shrug pull. How and why do you consider yourself adequate for coaching if basic hinge positioning isn't there? This isn't nitpicking. Back training requires a hinge. How can you teach the squeeze when you can't achieve it yourself?
Push your butt back, bend your knees a little bit, pull in to right underneath your chest. 1, 2. All right, and then last but not least, I'm gonna do 45 minutes on incline on the treadmill. So I hope this helped you. If you're new to the gym, don't be nervous. Just go do it.
45-minute incline treadmill walk of shame. I'll just walk off the bad choices I made in the kitchen. In between your reps, make sure you're resting for like 1 to 3 minutes.
In between your reps, make sure you are resting, okay? We're gonna rest for like 1 to 3 minutes.
Not between your reps, between your sets. Terminology matters. And why back and arms? For someone new, that split is arbitrary at best and distracting at worst. Here's a question. What's the goal? Fat loss? Strength? Mental health?
This is the most helpful starter tips I've seen. Literally gonna put these into practice my next workout.
You can tell this is a 45-pound plate by looking at the number right here, and it says 45. If you're ever thirsty at the gym, try drinking some water. These are dumbbells, and this is a dumbbell rack. When you're done using the dumbbells, you put them back on the dumbbell rack. This magical stuff is called deodorant. You put it on before you go to the gym, just like so. If you're ever tired after a set, you can rest and you'll be less tired then. If a weight was super easy to do, you can simply increase the weight to make it more difficult. To add a weight to a barbell, go ahead and take your weight, align the hole with the sleeve of the barbell, and slide it on. And this is a squat rack. We know this because it is both a rack and you squat in it. To add an attachment to a cable, open up the clip and then add the attachment on. Here is how you count to 5 reps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
This might look like a joke, but seriously, this isn't actually useful for beginners. Especially the attachment add when it helps me.
True. Unironically, it's a good starting point.
I didn't know it's that level of beginner, bro. This is more like an intermediate guide. Can't you do an easier one so I can follow?
If you want to enter the gym, go through the doors of the gym.
What's a gym?
Game? What's a game? Oh, a game.
All right, repeat after me. I don't need to earn my food. My body needs it to survive. Okay? You got this. I love you.
Got what? A future knee replacement at 40? Your body doesn't need the whole bag of chips. Bodies need appropriate amounts and appropriate quality of food. So in your case, it's the opposite. Your body needs absence of food to survive. You, currently carrying around 2 years' worth of stored survival energy, do not need that third helping of pasta to survive. And we don't build our lives around barely surviving. You can technically survive while doing a lot of things that actively make your life worse. Sheer gluttony as a heroic struggle against what exactly? Hunger?
Repeat after me. My body doesn't need that much food to survive.
Something tells me that your body would survive perfectly fine without a dozen donuts a day.
It's like a billionaire saying he needs more money to survive.
Should be below 578 today.
Good news is you came a long way. Bad news is, shorty, you went the wrong way.
Second, we have a lot of blame to shift. Before breakfast.
I don't fucking care what you say. You're gonna sit here and call me fat. Call me fat, baby! But don't sit here and try to pretend like you don't eat pizza, you don't eat fast food, you don't do any of that. The only reason you get away with it is because of your fast metabolism. Some people don't have the luxury of a fast metabolism.
Yes, metabolism exists. Differences between people are real, but they're nowhere near big enough to explain massive differences in body weight. Also, plot twist, larger bodies actually burn more calories at rest. Maintaining more mass requires more energy. You actually have the faster metabolism in this scenario.
You don't eat healthier than anybody else. I love it when people run to my comments and they're like, oh my God, you're so fat. You should try losing weight. The only reason I'm in this position is because I don't have your fast metabolism. If you had my metabolism and ate the way you do, you'd probably be bigger than me. Kayla Martin just posted a video about how she eats a Big Mac for breakfast, like all the time, every time she's hungover. If I ever came to the internet and ate a fucking Big Mac on camera, the amount of comments of fat shaming, don't get me wrong, I already get fat shamed on a daily basis, but the amount of more fat shaming I would get would be insanity. But because she's skinny and cute, it's okay. And the amount of bad shit you probably put in your body, your ex-boyfriend was probably worse than the food I ate for lunch. Thank you.
Okay, even if we pretend for a second that your metabolism is slow, that's like a person with a $20 a day budget getting mad at someone with a $200 a day budget for spending more. If you know your budget is lower, why are you still shopping? It is your responsibility to eat adequately for the body you actually have, not the one you wish you had. Biology isn't fair. The thin person you mentioned can eat a Big Mac because, within the context of her overall diet and activity, there is room for it. You, having already exceeded your budget for the next fiscal year, do not.
I love following you, but just don't understand why you are always joking about your weight. Your mom works out at the gym and eats healthy. Did you ever try? It might help you in time. Thank goodness you don't have fast metabolism because that makes you hungrier faster.
I'm always going to be 100% honest with you guys. I thought this was a hippo. It's not.
How dumb and stupid do you have to be to yell fat out the window while I'm waiting to cross the street? Come up with something more creative, motherfuckers. Like, seriously? Ah!
I have nothing to say here, but had to share this with you since it made me laugh my ass off.
Yell fat out the window.
I vividly imagined it.
Fat!
But it's not okay, of course. Funny, but not okay.
Fat!
This made me laugh because it's so stupid.
And they call us lazy?
Fat!
Always want to lose a little bit of weight. Always, no matter what your body looks like.
Just want to lose like 5 pounds.
We think that's the answer.
Just want to lose like 5 pounds. Just want to lose like 5 pounds before lunch. So I can have more lunch.
I'm one stomach flu away from my goal weight.
Next, we have the final boss of diets.
I was talking to my husband last night about just the wild things that people say to you when you're in that diet culture, when you're in that diet like sphere. And one exchange that just lives in my brain rent free because of just how absurd it is was when I was in this diet where I was having a replacement shake in the morning, I was having dinner, and then I was having like one of the diet's like cereal bars after dinner. And so you can hear I'm barely eating, right? And on this particular day, with my cereal bar at the end of the day, I needed something a little bit more. So I grabbed a handful of grapes. And someone said to me, you need to be careful about how many grapes you're eating there, Hannah, because of the added sugar. They're fucking grapes. Like, it's wild how demonized fruit can be within certain diets because of this fucking added sugar. Bear in mind, the cereal bar I'm probably eating is probably really high in sugar, but that's part of the diet. That's allowed. So I'm getting judged and I'm getting fucking disciplined for eating grapes. Grapes of all things.
Added sugar? By whom? The Grape Council? The sun? It's fructose. It's fruit sugar. And of course it's okay. Since there is fiber, you can eat as much fruit as you want. You cannot overdo it. I suppose. Don't know about you particularly. The fact is that there are more than 30 grapes in 100 worth of calories. So your handful is how much? 20 calories? At most. Fruit is not demonized by serious nutrition science. Ever. If one random person said something like that, the correct conclusion is that person is wrong. not the entire concept of dietary structure is broken. And no one got your size by eating grapes. Grapes are not the problem in your case. In anyone's case.
They're fucking grapes. Like, it's wild how demonized fruit can be within certain diets because of this fucking added sugar. Bear in mind, the cereal bar I'm probably eating is probably really high in sugar, but that's part of the diet. That's allowed. So I'm getting judged and I'm getting fucking disciplined for eating grapes. Grapes of all things. And it's just, you just can't do anything right. You can't do anything right within diets. The demonization of foods, the judging, it was just the morality. It fucking sucks. And that will, every time that I eat grapes, I always remember that exchange. Because it's like, what? What? Like, they're fucking grapes, man. Just insane.
You're not a victim of fruit demonization. You're a victim of your own desire to find an excuse to quit. You remember that exchange every time you eat grapes because it's your favorite shield. It's the story you tell yourself to justify why you stopped trying. So let's not miss the leap of logic here. The narrative is, one person once said a thing about grapes years ago, therefore all dietary awareness is oppressive bullshit. Well, if I can't even eat a grape, I might as well just eat the whole pizza. Classic.
Didn't realize they added sugar to grapes.
So funny. Like they think someone's standing injecting grapes with a shot of sugar?
To be fair, I would 100% eat that.
Me too.
Maybe they meant adding sugar to the diet for the day? Like the diet aimed to get you under certain level of sugar, and grapes are known as one of the most sugary fruits.
When I saw the sweet, sugary cereal aisle, my cart just automatically turned.
One of the main reasons. Snaky Chan, Snow White and the Seven Rolls, Beauty Ate the Beast, My Cholesterol Romance, Bigger Hero 6, Snackagwea, Fatatouille, Optimus Wide, Princess and the Hog, Kim Kardashian.
And lastly, the I don't care defense.
I'm going to give you 3 reasons why being fat should be a crime in 2026. Firstly, gluttony. Gluttony is one of the 7 deadly sins, and there may or may not be enough room for you in heaven.
Why the sarcasm? Forget the religious sin aspect for a second. Gluttony is, at its core, selfishness. And, as one of our commenters perfectly framed it, overeating is a selfish waste of food. It is the overconsumption of resources far beyond what is required. In a world where we share healthcare systems, insurance pools, public spaces, and everything, being a drain on those resources because you refuse to manage your intake isn't liberating.
Secondly, you will die at an early age with probably an unfulfilled life.
Okay, maybe not this young. Modern medicine is incredible at keeping people alive. But what about the quality of life? Sure, you might make it to 60, but will you be living or will you be managed?
Thirdly, it is a crime to let yourself go, especially when you have a partner at home that has to look at you.
She frames this as the person has to look at you. No, it's that the person has to care for you. It's about not becoming a burden, physically, emotionally, financially. It's selfish, especially if you have kids.
Those were just 3 of the many DMs I get from complete strangers this week on why I simply shouldn't exist in a fat body. But hey, if anything, these people that have spoken these words to me unprovoked for simply existing in a larger body are far more imprisoned in their own insecurities for their words to have any sort of impact on me. Remember, daily dosers, living in a larger body is not a crime. But being an insufferable, egotistical, self-righteous asshole is. Have a wonderful day.
These words from insecure strangers have no impact on you. Well, of course they have no impact. You're recording a TikTok about them. So the crime isn't being fat. The real crime, as you so accidentally nailed, is being an insufferable, self-righteous asshole.
You sound like you grew up with a skinny sister.
Yikes. You're like, obsessed with me, Andrew. This is what? The 3rd post you have commented on of mine. Thanks for supporting me, bestie.
Go do a mukbang. You're helping people never help themselves.
Themselves.
Salad.
What if he likes me fat? Oh, he a narcissist. Am I able to eat good fried chicken on my meal plan? No, you've had enough fried chicken. And so did all the rest of the people in your family. And it didn't end up well for them. So slow down. Is your meal plan tasty? No. It tastes like a flat stomach, a chiseled jawline, and no back rolls. That's what the meal plan tastes like. Delicious. Do you ever eat at Wingstop? No, I don't want to look like Rick Ross. Is heavy bones a thing? No, unless you're a dinosaur. Can you go from 158 to 110 in about 3 months? You can't. What if I'm an actual picky eater? Then you wouldn't be so big. You keep saying you're a picky eater. How are you so large? If you're so particular about food, how'd you get so big? You're not a picky eater. You just don't like tomatoes on your Chick-fil-A sandwich. That doesn't make you a picky eater.
Can we just take a second to talk about being fat on the internet? I'm going to be like super vulnerable for a second, and you might not even watch this. I'm sure this video is going to get like 500 views, and that's okay.
Oh, stop it. Humility at max. Rage bait. Super vulnerable. Translation, I'm about to emotionally manipulate my audience into validating my poor life choices because I had a bad day. And 500 views? Let's see what traumatizing event sparked this level of vulnerability.
But I posted a video a couple days ago asking for advice on an outfit, like specific articles of clothing, and instead I got advice on how to appear smaller, but appearing smaller isn't a goal of mine. And let me also clarify, majority of the comments, great, helpful, good advice, amazing. Some of the comments were like, pleats are not flattering on plus size bodies. You should not wear a small crossbody bag, it'll make you look larger. Black would make you appear slimmer.
So, you went on the internet as a, quote, plus-size fashion person, asked for fashion advice, and then got mad when people gave you fashion advice. Fashion is literally about aesthetics and silhouette. For a shorter person, it's how to appear taller. It's basic visual arts. When you are the size of a small sedan, the generally accepted aesthetic advice is going to be things that don't make you look like a larger sedan. They aren't trying to hurt your feelings. But no, your, quote, goal isn't to look smaller. Your goal is apparently to wear things that actively emphasize the obesity. Stunning.
I watched your vid and it was definitely about your weight lol. You literally started the video talking about body image and weight gain.
Let's peek at the video she is referring to.
I have a closet full of clothing, but somehow nothing to wear, so I bought something. Let's try it on together. This came just in time. I have a craft club event this week, and I really want something to wear that's not shorts or a dress. And I've been really struggling with self-image this summer. So it would be really nice to just have a pair of clothing summer that like I feel good in. You know what I mean?
Self-image does not equal body image, and neither of them equate to asking for opinions on how to look smaller. I cited lack of weight gain and spent 10 seconds of a 2-minute video referencing self-image. The remainder of the video was about the skirt and top.
Black would make you appear slimmer. And the craziest of them all, someone was like, multiple someones were like, you need a minimizer bra. I don't really want to talk about my tits on the internet, but
you do.
I don't need to minimize them. This is what they are. This is what they are. And neither of the outfits I was wearing were like booby central. I mean, there's literally no reason to wear a minimizer bra unless I chose I wanted to wear one. And I get it. This is a part of posting online. People are always going to have opinions, and they're always going to feel entitled to sharing those opinions, and that is for the most part fine.
What do you mean people are going to feel entitled to share their opinions? You asked for their opinions.
You absolutely do not have to accept them. Block, delete, turn off comments, whatever makes you enjoy your time on here.
You asked for advice. People are going to give it like or not.
Those opinions, and that is for the most part fine. Usually I don't care. Something about this week, it's really getting to me that every time I open the app, I have another comment from someone else telling me that they don't like my body. Every thought that you've had about a fat person, I promise you they've had about themselves.
Even if this is true, it's also irrelevant. Having an insecurity doesn't grant veto power over other people's opinions.
I really think it has to do with these people not being comfortable with their own vulnerability, so they feel the need to pick on others.
I'm not sure they're even trying to pick on others. I think they sometimes genuinely think they're helping because in their head that's the advice they would want. It's truly brainwashing in a lot of cases.
And I'm sure there's going to be people out there that are going to invalidate my feelings on this because, in their opinion, by posting publicly, you need to be willing to accept all of these comments. I just don't. I will acknowledge that these comments are, in fact, a part of posting on social media, but I don't think that we should normalize it, and I don't think that we should expect people to accept these comments with open arms, I suppose. I don't know. I just, I wish we could just stay on topic. The topic doesn't always have to switch to how to appear smaller when you're a plus-size person. The topic was whether or not I could pair a certain shirt with a skirt. And no, my body didn't have anything to do with it.
And there it is, the gold medal mental gymnastics routine. My body didn't have anything to do with it. Your body is literally the entire point of your online existence. You brand yourself as a plus-size creator. You cannot separate the clothes from the hanger, especially when the hanger takes up 80% of the screen. You want the applause for being brave enough to wear a certain clothes, but you don't want the commentary that comes with it. You want to monetize your obesity in the public square, but demand a private experience where only praise is allowed. I post Tik Toks, but I demand only the feedback that validates my choices.
I will never understand this era of adults trying to parent other adults and offer unsolicited advice. It is so bizarre.
My body didn't have anything to do with it. It was patterns and textures and colors that we were talking about. But, I don't know. That's my pity party. I'll get over it now.
Acknowledging that comments like this are part of posting online, while insisting we shouldn't normalize them, while continuing to post online, while expecting the comments to change. You cannot post and market your morbid obesity as a style choice, ask for feedback, and then cry when that feedback involves the physical reality of your body. The fat acceptance movement has successfully rebranded these basic, well-intentioned interactions as a microaggression, reframing the consequences of a choice as systemic oppression. You don't get to invite the public into a conversation and then hate them for not reading your mind. Especially your followers, your well-intentioned fans. You are selfish. You don't appreciate that people spent time to watch your video and answer your question. You are not grateful at all.
Flattering has got to be one of the most fat-phobic words out there, I swear.
You're overthinking.
You're underthinking.
People think a plus-size person asking for fashion tips is an open invitation to criticize their body. Very weird.
I don't know why people feel so comfortable online giving unsolicited advice. They wouldn't do it in person.
Your belly, your arms, and your thighs. All of you is worthy, okay? Not despite your fatness, but with it.
Worthy of what? Worthy of being fat? Worthy of immediate medical intervention before your joints disintegrate? Let's stop and define our terms here, because they love to play word games. Worthy as a human being deserving of basic rights? Sure, nobody is saying you should be hunted for sport. But worthy of celebration? Absolutely not. But you know what else is worthy? My health. Worthy is a spiritual concept. Health is a biological reality. Let's not confuse the two.
Your body tells a story of survival and strength.
Surviving your own lifestyle choices isn't the flex you think it is.
And you need to honor that, and you need to respect that, okay? We need to stop fucking hating our bodies. It is so annoying. It takes up so much mental energy that you could be using doing other things. So just know that your body is worthy as it is now, okay?
Do you know what takes up a ton of mental energy? Denying physical reality. Managing type 2 diabetes. Your sleep apnea. You don't need to hate yourself to want better for yourself.
So I'm a bigger woman, and this guy tells me, "Oh, I'm not interested in talking to you because of your size." I was like, "It's okay, honey. You obviously don't have the right tools for the job anyway, so I'll just go find somebody with better equipment that can handle it."
Capable of lifting 35.
Bigger woman? Bigger than what?
You can see that this person is objectively unhealthy.
Oh, hey, that was me. And actually, in that picture, I was only 500 pounds.
Oh, that's my bad. You're still morbidly obese. You're making light of your terrible health while fitting into shoes like this.
You have so much to say about my ankles, but can your ankles do this?
What does that prove? That her ankles can hold 500 pounds.
Oh, I need something to chase this with. You got some chips?
Next, a masterclass in deflection.
Being morbidly obese is a spiritual issue. It's unprocessed trauma. It's unworked.
Okay, disrespectfully, what the fuck? Okay, he goes on to also say that fat people instead of turning to alcohol and drugs as their addiction method, they turn to food. Can we just be very clear here? Not every fat person is addicted to food.
Okay, sure. And not every person at the casino is a gambler. You are laughing because if you admit that shoving 5,000 calories down your throat is a response to trauma or an addiction, then you have to admit it's a problem. And if it's a problem, you have to fix it. To maintain a weight of 400 pounds, you need to consume more than 4,000 calories a day. Do you know how much food that is? That is the equivalent of 15 cheeseburgers every single day. That's dedication. If you have a normal job and a hobby, you wouldn't have time to maintain this. So if you are eating 15 cheeseburgers worth of food daily and you don't think you have an underlying issue, then what do you call it? A talent? A career path? If you see someone drinking 15 beers a day, you call an intervention. So God forbid we suggest that maybe, just maybe, eating yourself into a mobility aid isn't the sign of a perfectly balanced psyche.
Okay. And also, what? A spiritual issue? I think everybody needs to redirect their focus. Why do we hate fat people so much? Why are we so obsessed with trying to figure out why people are fat? Like, get a hobby. Have you ever hot glued things to other things? Try that.
Brilliant rhetorical pivot. You think I have a problem? No. You have the problem for noticing my problem. Classic.
And all the commenters having a circle jerk about how right he is. I am not encouraged by humanity today.
Literally, I'd argue that I don't eat enough but am still fat.
Okay, what's the fattest thing you ever did?
So I'm pulling into the Taco Bell drive-thru, right? And I already know this is going to be a legendary binge. Like, I am absolutely ready to destroy some Taco Bell. So I pull up to the speaker and I get the old, "Hey, welcome to Taco Bell, what can I get for you?" I say, "Just give me 1 second, please." And then I proceed to make a fake phone call to my buddy. "Hey man, how's it going? Yo, how many people are supposed to be at the party today?" Okay, got you. Alright, I'm just picking up some tacos, I'll be over in a bit. "Hey man, I'm ready to order now. Yeah, can I get 2 party packs, please?" Perfect, thank you. I pull up to the window, of course, worried that he's judging me because I'm alone in a car and ordering 2 party packs. But I did the fake phone call. I outsmarted him, right? So he knows that I'm going to a party. Little does he know that I went home and ate every single one of those tacos alone. And I don't even know why. I probably wasn't hungry anymore after like the 3rd or maybe 4th taco, but I ate them all anyway.
As someone who worked in food industry, trust me, brother, we really wasn't thinking about that. Just counting down the minutes until our shift was over.
No, for real. Or we just assume they're going to a party or hangout.
Party of one is still a party.
How many times a week do you think I work out if I do work out? Or you can say you don't think I work out at all.
I don't think you.
Great.
I don't think you work.
I have a personal trainer.
I
have a personal trainer. I go to the gym 5 times a week. I can bench and lift and do all the fun things up to 200, 220 pounds.
Just curious, when did you start? Like, when did you
I've been working out my whole life. And sometimes I do it to lose weight. Sometimes I do it just to be strong. I have 6 godchildren, and they don't care how I look. They just care if I can keep up with them. They quite love my stomach. They think it's fun. They think it's the cutest thing. My little goddaughter looks at me and you just immediately assume they don't work out, when in reality, I could probably run past these 3 ladies on a track right now. I can
hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Everybody that doesn't work out always say they work out 5 times a week.
What's the point of lying so hard?
I'm her trainer, she isn't lying lol.
Worst trainer ever if that's a physique with working out 5x a week. I am all for looking whatever way, but 5x a week, no.
I'm very good at what I do. She had great mobility. Her range of motion and depth on movements are great. She 100% needs to lock in better on her eating habits, but she's working on it. I'm very proud of her for progress from where she started from until now. I am sorry she doesn't look up to your standard yet. Her name is @HaleyHermsOfficial. Keep watching, eventually she will.
Lately, I've seen so many women basically calling out men who say they like bigger women as like fakers or liars because they don't have that same energy offline, but they'll come online and talk about how they like chubby women for the clout or whatever. I must posit that, you know, for the clout is possible. I'm sure it's a perk. I'm sure they like that women are like throwing themselves at them for saying this one thing. However, I actually think a lot of them think they mean it. But their definition of fat or chubby is just fundamentally way different than a woman and does not include like a lot of us, right? So it's obviously, sometimes it's like, oh, they have the curves in the right places. They have big hips. They have a small waist. They have like no double chin, like blah, blah, blah. Sometimes it's just that. Sometimes it's that their definition of chubby is literally like a Victoria's Secret model with like the uterus pouch. Like that's chubby to them because they're so used to being catered to by like media that shows them the pinnacle standard of beauty type woman in porn, in movies, whatever it is, that like anything outside of that to them makes them think they're like actually really cool and progressive for liking chubby women.
So it's no longer enough for society to accept your lifestyle choices. Now, men are being yelled at for not being progressive enough in their dating preferences. You are literally gatekeeping the word chubby.
So, like, they might like, oh, they like this woman who's a size 6 with a little bit of stomach fat. They're not gonna like me at a size 16 shape round. Like, that's not the vibe, right? They're certainly not going to like somebody who's even bigger than that, or somebody who doesn't carry their weight in whatever way that they are taught to like. They just think that it's like the variety of them is like a tiny little tweak to us human women who see a large variety of body types in our friends, loved ones, and feeds.
Human women, the lizard women men actually want. She's basically mad that men are attracted to human shapes instead of geometric shapes. Round is a shape for a bowling ball, not a biological preference for a species that evolved to value mobility and health.
And feeds. Obviously, again, this is not all men. This is not all men who post on the internet about liking bigger women. But, like, you guys, most of the ones who say chubby, if they say chubby, they mean uterine pouch on an otherwise thin woman. I swear to fucking God. They mean less visible muscle definition than a professional athlete who's like a runner, like not even, you know, a weightlifter or something where someone's a little bit more like hefty, but like, you know what I mean? They mean one step up from Barbie doll. That is what they mean. So if they're saying chubby or curvy, they probably don't mean you. They don't mean me. Like, for sure they don't mean me. And so many of them will run to make this distinction like, well, we don't mean obese. Like, yeah, I know. I can tell from living in the world. So yeah, but men, stop giving yourself brownie points for like liking 1% more body fat than other men you think like. You're not, first of all, you're not special because a lot of you are in this camp. And two, you just like another variety of straight size woman who's like barely different at all. And it's giving, I don't even see women that are actually outside the standard of beauty because I don't even think they're on the menu. So you're not cool and progressive for your chubby preference.
She's shaming men for not being attracted to her, and then shaming them if they are attracted to women slightly larger than a runway model because they aren't going far enough. Your acceptance isn't acceptable unless it's total, unquestioning celebration of every single pound. Translation: men like women they find attractive. Shocking revelation.
It's valid. Women say they like a dad bod like Henry Cavill or Hugh Jackman.
I'm okay with a little chub. Look at Ariana Grande, for example.
Thin people, I'm going to try not to cry when I say this to you.
Yeah.
Thin people.
Thin people.
When you're buying seats for your home, I want you to think of the fattest person you've ever seen.
Thank you.
I want you to think of the fattest, biggest, chunkiest motherfucker you've ever encountered. And I want you to think, if I had them over, would they enjoy this seat? And if the answer is no, I'd like you to skip it, thin people. Thin people, if you can hear me. Thin people, if you can hear me right now, thin people.
But they can.
Thin
you
people.
have a lot of thin fans, I feel.
I do, and it's concerning because they are small. And thin people, your seats aren't working.
No.
And I'm not changing.
No.
I'm not going to lose weight to come over.
No.
You need to get different chairs.
And I'm going to tell you something right now. Your little mid-century fucking furniture that you purchased, it's a hazard to me. I will break your beautiful things.
Mid-mod?
It doesn't mid-mod.
More like, good God. I got to get the fuck out of here.
I'm not changing, said in the same sentence as demanding others change to serve your needs, in their own home. Wild.
Being morbidly obese is a spiritual issue. It's unprocessed trauma. It's unworked wounds. People don't become hundreds of pounds overweight just because. They have something happen to them, a belief, an experience, a trauma, and instead of turning to drugs or alcohol or sex, they turn to food. So telling those people, just lose the weight, do the work, it's so much more than physical for them. They are spiritually fat. They have to trim the fat away from their spirit and do the deep work before the physical work can even seem possible. And I'm empathetic to that. I know how hard it is. So if you're watching this and you're one of those people, you can do it. You can do the hard work, and I'm not talking about the gym and the diet. You got this. I love you. It will not be easy, but it is simple. Don't overcomplicate it.
I'm Rhiannon, a personal trainer at JD Gyms in Wolverhampton, and I have autism and ADHD, and I specialise in helping anxious, nervous, neurodivergent people to get started on their own health and fitness journey. I believe that health and fitness is about finding strength in who you are, and I'm training for my first ever strongwoman competition in February and my second in May. I'm so excited to be able to help people because I know how hard it is to walk into a gym for the first time, and I help people who feel excluded from traditional fitness environments. So give me a follow if this is you.
I'm Modern Thinking, a person who believes in reality at the gym. And I specialize in helping people stop making excuses so they can actually lift weights and see results. I believe fitness is about finding the discipline to change who you are, not just accepting a version of yourself that can't climb a flight of stairs without a safe space talk. Jokes aside, I was triggered by the strongwoman thing. She says she's training for a strongwoman competition. That's a classic move in the body positivity playbook. If you call yourself an athlete, you don't have to talk about weight loss. But let's look at the bar. 7.5 kilograms per side on a military press? That's 30 kilograms and rowing 50. If your body weight is 5 times what you're pressing, you aren't bulking for power. You're just overeating under the guise of functional strength. Don't know if she is intentionally obese for her clients, but it's a valid question. In the world of body neutrality, being fit is almost seen as exclusionary. By staying obese, she signals to her clients that they never have to face the discomfort of a calorie deficit. And her figure attracts them. But it's the blind leading the blind. True fitness isn't about feeling included.
It's rare to see a trainer actually prioritize nervous system regulation alongside physical lifting. The fitness world definitely needs more of this accessibility. Cheering you on for the strongwoman comp. Amazing girl. I see some comments about you using your ADHD etc. for attention. That's not how I see it. I personally feel that it helps you connect more with the clients you want to work with. You literally have an insight into how neurodivergent people think, and that means you can help them achieve better results. Keep being you.
Let's get right to it. Today I am trying to do a plank for an entire minute. This is something I have never been able to do in my entire life. I think the most I've ever been able to get is about 30 seconds. So how did I do today? Well, first there was some heavy breathing, then some grunting, and then some more heavy breathing, and then I fell short. I made it about 37 seconds, but I was not going to let this define my gym experience. So I was doing my final set of 125 and overhead press, and I was feeling really freaking good, really freaking strong. And I said, you know what? Maybe I don't have a plank, but maybe I have a PR. So I jumped up to 130 and I was able to do 2 reps. The second rep looked awful, so we're not gonna share it. I then did my regular workout, which included some bench pressing and then some lateral raises. And you know what? I didn't leave the gym a failure. I left the gym with even more drive to try again and maybe next time succeed.
So we've gone from failing a 60-second plank with low back stress and no core involvement to ego lifting 130 pounds with form that would make a chiropractor's eyes water. When you are carrying that much visceral fat, your lumbar spine is already under massive structural stress. But watching that back curve into a literal C shape during a press is a one-way ticket to a herniated disc. She says she didn't leave the gym a failure. But if you're sacrificing your spine because you're too strong to focus on weight loss, you aren't winning. According to the Journal of Biomechanics, excessive lumbar extension under heavy load is the leading cause of spondylolysis in lifters. In the world of fat liberation, they'll call this empowerment. But in the real world of building muscle and exercising, we call this an inevitable injury.
You're back during those lifts. OMG. Please be careful.
Don't worry, it looks scary, but it's proper form.
If you live a life where you are what we call straight size, which means you can go to any store in the mall and you can buy yourself a pair of pants, not disabled, and you don't struggle with mental health, and you don't struggle with eating disorders or exercise disorders, or you're not an aging individual. If you are living a very privileged life, you might not understand why there is such a great need for spaces like this.
So let me get this straight. If you prioritize fitness and discipline, you aren't healthy, you're just privileged. Apparently, being straight-sized and able to buy pants is just a lucky break, not the direct result of discipline. This is the ultimate peak of fat acceptance rhetoric, reclassifying the rewards of hard work as privilege so that you never have to address the lack of weight loss progress. She's advocating for plus-size only gyms. Creating separate gyms doesn't solve the struggle. It just ensures that people who need to lift weights and change their lives stay trapped in a space where nobody is allowed to tell them that exercising is supposed to be about transformation.
It's crazy that when you start listing out the number of people who are not normal, you realize the majority of people aren't normal and the normal people are the minority.
It's your plus size gym bestie here. Let's hit upper body using dumbbells only. Shorts are from TSL and the sweater is from Nike. Starting off with shoulder presses. You can do these seated or standing. We are doing 3 sets of 10 reps. Try and keep your core tight while you're doing this and focus on pushing up with your shoulders. Then we are moving on to bicep curls. You can do these singles or together. I did 10 reps for 3 sets. Increase your weight if you can on each round. Then we are moving on to chest press. Again, try and keep your core engaged. It really helps with your mind and muscle movements. And we are pushing up with those dumbbells, 3 sets of 10. Then we are doing bent over rows. I am using the bench here, but you could use a chair or something else, and you're using your arm and squeezing your lat as you go back. I typically feel this in my back and in my oblique as well. And then we also did some overhead press using a dumbbell as well. This is tricep focus. These are a little bit more difficult for me, but I still did my 10 reps for 3 sets. And then I finished off with some abs. This is my bestie here, Becky, and we did 3 sets of 20 of the Russian twists by passing them to each other, and they were so hard.
Our plus-size gym bestie is giving us masterclass in majoring in the minors. First off, if you're going to be a fitness influencer, at least learn the names of the exercises you're doing. That's an overhead tricep extension, not an overhead press. So, form aside, the real tragedy here is the programming. If your goal is actual weight loss and building muscle, the last thing an obese beginner needs is a dedicated upper body day filled with bicep curls and passing a ball to bestie. When you are carrying that much extra body fat, you need the metabolic demand of big, compound, full body movements. Think squats, deadlifts, and heavy rows, not junk volume isolation moves. Compound movements elicit a significantly higher hormonal and metabolic response. You don't even need a body part split. You need a total body reality check.
Hi girlie, thanks so much for this post. I've been struggling to find women who look like me to copy their movements in the gym.
Just because someone is big does not mean they are new to movement, you silly little sausage. And why do you think that? Well, it's because it's really hard to not internalize fat phobia. Why do you think I can do this shape or this or this? It's not because I'm exceptional or one of the few gifted chubby legends. It's because I kept showing up and doing them over and over and over again. Even when teachers and the yoga community made me feel like shit. And I would argue it's harder to keep showing up when everyone around you looks different. And people in the community are often judgmental knobs, but I'm a stubborn little shit and now it's my job, so I have even more time to wiggle and do these shapes. But the reason we don't see more bigger students and teachers isn't because they can't do it, it's because we make the space an unhospitable environment for them to be in. So teachers, be nice and learn to support different types of students. Students, go and find teachers that are good eggs and heavily feedback about the knobheads.
If you've been showing up over and over again and your body composition hasn't changed, you aren't a stubborn little shit. You're just someone who refuses to address their diet while calling it a career. She blames fatphobia and judgmental knobs for why we don't see more bigger teachers. But maybe the yoga community is just tired of seeing people monetize a total lack of physical progress. Fact check. Research in the Journal of Physical Therapy Science shows that obesity significantly alters biomechanics and joint loading, meaning those shapes are putting massive unnecessary stress on your connective tissue. If you really wanted to support your students, you'd teach them that exercising is for transformation, not just wiggling to stay exactly where you are.
That's not very yogi of them. You rock, sunshine.
A few years ago, I went to a yoga class with a new teacher. He asked, "Are you new to yoga?" And I said, "Oh no, I do it all the time." And he said, "It's okay. It will be beginner friendly." He literally couldn't even hear listen to my response because he was already so sure there was just no way. Made me feel awful and angry. It was my birthday to boot.
Thank you for watching. If you want more like this, check out the full playlist. Please like or hype the video and tell me your take. You can even further support this channel by becoming a member. Thank you, and see you in the next one.